That's one second, guys. There we are. All right, what's going on, traders? How we doing out there? Who's ready to get into the action? It's time to get back to the market. Of course, I had a rough week last week, but guess what? Fists are up and we're ready to battle back this week. Let's go after a nice green week. Of course, it's a holiday week, so stay tuned, guys. Let's see what we can find. Maybe there might be a little roaring kitty trade. Let's talk a little bit about that. Chewy wiping me out on Friday, but Chewy is back up this morning. What up out there, traders? How we doing? It's good morning to you guys and ready to get to the market action. Let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about the playbook to start off the day, and then we'll get into the action. Of course, what's going on out there? I'm trying to make some trades, so definitely smash the like. Let me know what trade you guys are watching this morning. We'll take a look at, see what's in the market right now. Of course, the playbook, always having some plays out there for you guys. And if you guys aren't catching the playbook, you're not checking this out on, of course, X in the morning. Guys, take a look at it this morning. We put it out already, guys. So here's the link, guys. If you haven't already done so, click that link for me in the chat. Hit the like button, hit the retweet. Let everybody know the playbook is out, and you guys could be tuning in every single morning. All right, let's get to the action that's on that playbook. Of course, there's a lot to talk about. We'll get right into the action here. First up on the playbook is going to be an interesting play that we've talked about plenty of times. We've talked about how WTI has gone into the 82s plenty of times, and I've showed you guys how oil has a tendency of making a lift during this time. So it's something that I'm definitely going to keep a watch on to see what happens today. But we're already seeing a nice little spike here. So time to go ahead and focus to see what happens in this stocks. Of course, there's a lot to talk about here. XOM is going to be definitely one of the top watches. We've got Valero to kind of keep a watch. But I also want to show you guys WTI overall, right? So here you guys have it. I'll give you guys the look right now so that you guys can see what's going on this morning. Of course, this isn't, kind of real time right now. This is a little bit delayed. It's about 15-minute delayed, but it doesn't really matter to me. What I want to show you guys is 1 year chart, right? And so right now, where we're at a bottoming in June, right? Right there was about 74, now starting to work our way back to 82. But if you look back here, right around this time, right, July 3rd, we started at 69.79. Now we're starting to climb for the seasonal run where it usually runs into what? September 27th. So the end of September. All right. Well, that gives us the ability to look for that run. And now I'm going to be looking to see if we can get that run seasonality coming into play, seeing if we get up there towards the 86, 89 area. That's going to be definitely an important part to kind of start getting. And then if we can get back up there towards the 90, these oil stocks could make a giant leap up. So got to continue to watch to see what happens with these, but I definitely will be on the radar. Just restarting my charting platform here. And Deaf Billy in the chat, what's going on out there? Yo, fam, I just got the 20K funded. Hey, shout out to you, my friend. Hit that alarm. Let's keep it going. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Shout out to you, Deaf Billy. I wish you the best on the funded account, of course. And hey, stick around, man. I'd love to hear some trade ideas that you're using, what's working for you, what's not working for you. That's what we're all about here. So if you guys have a trade that you guys want to talk about, throw it up in the chat. I'll make sure to go ahead and talk about it. All right, so crude. Overall, going to be watching XLE. I already have this on the swing trade account. Let me go ahead and show you guys that. Let me go ahead and pull up the swing trade this morning and show you guys the positions here. Where's my positions? There they are, guys. Here you guys see them right on the screens. Right in front of you guys. So, of course, I got the XLE long from 91.20s. We're at 91.65 this morning. going to be looking to see if this can really start to climb. In the morning, we're already starting to get a little bit of a lift. I'm looking for pullbacks to even add on to this swing trade. I got the XLE in this, but we can go about it any different way, right? There's a lot of different ways to kind of play this energy play. I like Valero also. That's already starting to get the lift there towards 157.30s. On Friday, I was able to make a really decent gain on Valero towards the end. This actually went all the way up there towards 157 towards the end. Now, I didn't get the 157. I got towards the 156.70s, but was able to minimize my loss on the day. It only ended up being like about $100 loss. So we're going to see what happens now with Valero. Can it really start taking a step up? Look at the daily chart. It's really starting to get that move towards 158. Really want to see it take 160. But there's other ones that we can look at. PSX we could look at. We could look at MPC, Marathon Petroleum Corp. Or maybe you can just stick with XOM, right? You can see how this has made already a little jump. These are stocks that we can definitely trade. Or maybe you're a leverage type of trader and you want to trade just in the intraday. Well, Gush can be a vehicle for that. Move back through this trend line will be something that I'll be looking for. And especially just looking to see if energy can start to ride higher. And you can see here from my equally weighted outlook that, yeah, if we start to make a nice little lift back through this trend line and really start pushing, let's say to this 2,700 on this index, yeah, we're going to be looking to see oil start the big push. All right, let's keep going. I only trade the mega caps. Got nothing wrong with that, Billy. I like it. Stick to what you like, man, and what works, right? So good morning to you guys out there, and definitely well done indeed, man. So stick to what you like, whether that be, Apple. We've been talking about a trend right now, and I'll get to that, Def Billy, just after the playbook. First playbook is, of course, long oil stocks. That's what I'm looking at. Of course, you guys make your own shots. Another one that I already have, I want to show you guys this one, is a Walmart short. So you guys see it right here. I'm actually down in the position right now. So that's something to note, right? But I'm looking to see if Walmart can turn around. Of course, Walmart has been getting a big lift ever since their kind of 3-for-1 split in February, right? That was all the way back in February. Then it continued to ride higher, got all the way about 18% higher than that, about almost 11 points. And has been trading in somewhat of a channel here since this gap up here in May. So I'm looking to see if we reject that channel and start to break down back to the downside. So we've started to break down below the 90 MA. We had this attempt here on Tuesday. We went to 66.55s and then recovered the 90 MA the next day. So today, what I'll be watching, do we hold the 90 MA or break it down? 67.75. Of course, back into the 868s, going back to 68.50s and 69s, and you stay in the channel and you just chop along. So we'll see if this one actually breaks towards 67 today and starts to take out this low here of 66.55. That will give me conviction on the short on Walmart. All right, let's keep going, guys. Let's take another look. Last one that I'll give you guys from the playbook this morning, SMCI, super microcomputers. We've been keeping an eye out to see what would happen with this one. Would we get a pullback to an important level and see this kind of rocket again? Of course, when this one was starting to break the 1,000, everyone was calling it for the big breakout, and there you guys have it. That's how it goes, guys. You get a little bit of a pullback, but now we have this trend line to kind of go off of, right? And I'm looking at this as being kind of the last stop here because you've tried to break it 1, 2, 3, and just recently we tried to break it here on Friday, went back towards 815.20s, but that's holding in this morning. So really the 800 is kind of more the risk here. So understand that that's about 20 points down. You could easily get a wash to that level, but this looks like a classic pattern that I talk about all the time. This is an Elliott wave ABC pattern, right? And so you got your Elliott wave up on that big break. Now you're kind of getting that kind of ABC move, right? And so I'm going to be watching to see what happens, to see if this wants to make the next move back up. But definitely one to kind of keep a watch. Now that we've gotten this kind of A, B, and then I'm going to look to see if we can get that kind of that A, B, C. Can we get that look right back up there towards 900? And then it comes back towards that 1,000. I think this is something definitely to keep a watch on. So definitely super microcomputers is on the radar. We'll see what happens with this one. It's not a bad one to watch. Big level for me is Friday's 899.88. You're back in the 900, and this chart is going to be looking good. We'll see what happens there on super microcomputers. And definitely congrats to my man Billy in the chat. Let's talk a little bit about your strategy, Billy. So I know that you go ahead and you talk about micro caps. We've been talking about micro caps here, and how what I've been seeing a little bit is a shift going away from Nvidia and moving towards the bigger names, right? Like moving towards Apple, moving towards Microsoft, moving towards Amazon, right? I'm starting to see that kind of be the trade. Google up there towards 184 and continuing to go. So the rotation can just stay in the bigger names. That's one thing that I talked about on my sunrise report this morning. So if you're not getting the sunrise report, of course, you're probably not with our Discord. So you got to join the Discord, get that up, guys. You guys want to be getting actions on there, just like this right here. So of course, right now I'm looking with the S&P up 14.5%. Investors are really trying to see what would happen with the AI rally. Will it continue, or will we see some rotation at the top? And I think that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing some rotation where it could stay at the top. It can actually keep the Qs high, especially if, Nvidia can go down. But if TSM keeps going higher, if names like that, Apple, keep going higher, well, it's just going to hold the market up and continue to the break to the upside. We'll see what happens there. Let's keep going. Let's get into the sunrise report. Of course, the Roaring Kitty is back and trading out there, is moving action in Chewy this morning. As you guys can see, this big lift here, and it's definitely something to catch. Roaring Kitty and Keep Gill disclosed a 6.6% passive stake as of June 24th in Chewy. So that's something to keep on watch. We'll see what happens. I mean, that was June 24th. We're pretty ways away from then, right? I mean, so that's one thing just to note, right? That was last week, Monday. It's already the 1st. We'll see what happens if we do get a sell on that, but there's definitely the passive stake there. So Chewy is going to be in play, and all those meme plays are going to be in play. Wolf on Friday. That was getting a little bit of a lift. We'll look to see if this actually turns around now that we know that Chewy is the one that has the position. But GameStop this morning also taking a downturn. Why? Because what happened, Roaring Kitty? Why aren't you talking about GameStop? Well, there you guys see it. GameStop taking a big hit. And I was taking a shot on this on Friday. I'm glad I cut out at the 25 spot because I was looking for the run into 27. We got a couple runs to 26, but rejecting that 27 run. Right. So that's something to keep an eye out for on GameStop. We'll look to see what happens with Chewy and this whole Roaring Kitty situation. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Let's go to the next stock here. I got you guys. Let's take a look here at Spirit Airlines. This is not going to be something that I'm going to see move too much, right? But of course, Spirit Aerosystems Holdings getting a little bit of a lift off of the Boeing mention that was already kind of given, right? Shares are soaring after Boeing agreed to acquire the company for $37.25 per share in Boeing stock. So Boeing taking a hit off of this. You can see it's already starting to decline. Boeing stepping in here and getting this supplier really does nothing for investors. I know that they're trying to assure investors that they're working on their suppliers and trying to correct the problems, but this just shows me more and more that there's bigger issues in SPR that Boeing probably already knows, right? SPR has come out with multiple issues for Boeing in the past. This is not a company that is just like a great company that they just went after. I think they've been struggling, and they have been struggling. Take a look at the chart, right? We've been seeing this start to pull back, and a lot of times this has some ugly moves on the downside. I mean, this used to be a $90 stock, right? This does not look good here for SPR. We'll see what happens. It does have a big inverse head and shoulders here on kind of the daily pattern, but this doesn't look as sexy at all, man. I'll need this to get back through $40 before I even think about SPR. But for Boeing, we'll see what happens with Boeing now. Will Boeing take another step down? I don't know, man. This one's a confusing story. It's all over the place, too. Look at the daily chart. You get moves down. You get all the way back to resistance, all the way back down. Seems to me like Boeing is just a sideways trend where a company is really struggling here and needs to turn things around confidence-wise to actually make a move. All right, let's keep going, guys. We got Sava Had a big drop on Friday and now starting to bounce back a little bit, but this doesn't make me feel any confident. Look at the morning action already coming right back down as shares were rebounding a little bit there as they clarified that the executive that everyone was kind of hitting actually had no involvement in their phase 3 trial. But this doesn't seem good at all, guys. This looks like a company that's just really coming for disaster. And a lot of people were, kind of taking big bets in this. So this could actually affect biotechs overall. Just be careful out there. Biotechs have been hot. Now they could start seeing a hit. Let's see if is Biogen down here. I'm just trying to look to see if maybe some other big biotechs are taking some hits there off of this. Let's take a look here. NVO has already been pulled back, but that's actually one of the strongest ones. VRTX, a little bit of a pullback. We'll see what happens to some of these big ones, right? Regeneron's been at 1,000, man. Regeneron just doesn't turn around, man. There's the right companies, right? The ones that have lifts off like this, right? And then there's the ones that are starting to just get destroyed. And I think that that's something to keep an eye out for, especially these smaller ones, not the ones that trade. Sarepta is one to keep on the radar. Of course, it had that big gap up recently. We'll look to see if it holds the pullbacks. All right, keep throwing up those tickers. What are you guys looking at? I'll take a look at them right now. You guys keep throwing them up in the chat. All right, there's about 2 more that I want to get through on the Sunrise Report. There's a lot on that action. But of course, we're seeing a little bit more in the box office hits as Inside Out 2 tops 1 billion. So that's going to affect Disney, but Disney's just been getting wrecked lately as it pulls back below 100. We'll look for the raise back up through 120, but doesn't feel confident about Disney. But this could actually affect other, right? It can actually affect movie stocks or kind of Cinemark Holdings that just recently got a nice upgrade, right? There you guys see that going. IMAX is one that I've been keeping an eye to open to see if this one makes a run to 20. And then if you really wanted to take a look, also this could affect AMC, as AMC recently has made a run, but has been going sideways here off to $5. Let's see if we can even just get a pop here towards 6. That'd be something to keep an eye open for, but definitely the leader right now in the move is CNK on Cinemark Holdings. You can see that little lift there past the 20s, up towards the 22s. Now you got to be careful with pullbacks towards around 20. That spot right there seems interesting, but we'll see what happens there on CNK. All right, guys, there's a lot to talk about and a lot of stocks I can talk about in the swing trade side of things. We still got AMD to the long side, XLE to the long side, Walmart to the short, Shop long, Affirm long, Palantir long, 6 positions on. And the only way to do this is because I got that swing trade account, right, guys? You guys got to check that out. If you guys haven't done so before, definitely check out our swing trade evaluations. I think it's a great way to go ahead and stay small in your trading, but still be taking shots and take measured shots on, of course, risk to return and seeing what we can come out of it. All right, guys, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some of the ones that you guys were watching. CMG, Nike, Tesla, Nvidia. We talked about a couple of those, right? Let's take a look here. Of course, we can take a look really quickly at CMG. That cut me out on Friday after the split. Was trying to catch a little bit of a bounce. It actually did bounce a little bit there, but then got flushed down towards 10 a.m., right back down towards the 62 and 63. We'll look to see if Chipotle recovers, but it doesn't make me feel good that Nvidia is down this morning also. So we'll see if Nvidia can recover. 125, an important spot. We're already towards 123.80s. Let's see if we get back above the 125. If not, this stock could be coming back here towards, like, let's say 111s. Does it feel like Nvidia is going to really break down? No, but the first spot would be that kind of 110, 111s. Then there's a couple of gap zones that we could come back into. We've drawn these already since the 21st. Let's see if these actually come back to those gap zones and we start to see a little bit of decline come in for Nvidia. Nike has a downgrade again this morning, and it's just not trying to bounce at all, man. This is down to 75, and this doesn't make me feel good at all for footwear and accessories. So if anything, I'm continuing to look for what? Shorts all around, baby. Skechers is one that I'm looking to short. On is one that I actually shorted on Friday. Look at this nice little drop that I was able to cash into on. It went down there to 38.18, and this morning it's almost right back up there. So we'll look to see if on rejects the resistance up there towards 39 and back above towards 40 where there's a gap, or does it just come right back down? There's a bigger gap to fill on the downside towards 35. So I'm keeping this one on watch on holdings, of course, footwear and accessory company, something to keep an eye open for. All right. And that was it pretty much in Tesla, right? We can take a look at Tesla. One of the things that I'll be looking for on Tesla is a pullback to 190. It's already on the takeoff. So at this point, I can't jump in it at the 200. I just won't do it, guys. But there's one thing that I can definitely look for, and that's for one big pullback day and then the next lift, right? So you're back above the 200. You're stair stepping. Now I'll be looking for quick pullbacks into kind of the 192, 190 range, and then right back up here through the 200 as a throwback opportunity. We'll see if we get that opportunity. Big levels to watch. The left-hand side is this gap filling, right? So you could get a quick spike towards 207 and then that decline. Right now, I'm not fighting Tesla. I won't short it, but I'm just looking for pullbacks to join the party. You guys know this was one of my top swing trades last week. Now look for the momentum to stay hot. A lot of the times that's what? That's the 9 EMA, that light blue line staying below the price action, kind of like you did here, and then starting to get that next lift. We'll see if that can continue to push, and that's in Tesla. All right, guys, definitely smash the like out there, guys. What do you guys like? And one thing to note, future day trader, you're bringing up an interesting one here. Wells Fargo maintaining a 120 price target on Tesla. So one thing to note, though, is whenever you see maintains to me don't matter. I'll just tell you, for me, right? It's up to you. If you want to pay attention to them, you can. The only thing that matters to me are upgrades or downgrades, and especially to buy and to sell, not outperform or underperform. I don't think those really matter to me. I do pay attention to price target changes, like, you know, like all the analysts are now chasing Nike to the downside and downgrading it, when probably you could look back and there was probably some upgrades buys just recently. These are the kind of things that I'm looking at, because it shows me also that the analysts have it wrong. If the analysts have it wrong, then majority of investors probably have it wrong also. So keep your eyes open for that. We'll see what happens there on Tesla. But like always, I just pay attention to upgrades and downgrades. I'm not worried too much about the maintains or the initiate coverage. Initiate coverage usually just means there's either a new kind of a new analyst on the team, and that's why he's putting out initiates or something like that. Let's take a look at one that did get a downgrade today to sell, which is Travelers Company. And you guys see this down there to 200, gap right down below it. So this gap looks prime for some fills to the downside. I'd be looking at maybe pops to 205 to get rejected, as that's what happened on Friday's action. 205, multiple rejections in that area. But this one could break the 200 and keep coming down. And this just tells me, yeah, maybe this insurance property trade is starting to break. We can take a look at that action. That's going to be insurance, property, and casualty. I'll take a look here to see how that's doing, right? So you guys can see here, insurance. We'll go to the index that I have. You can see how this has made a huge run and is now starting to finally break back down. So this doesn't look the best. If it does break down back through these lows, you can start seeing some of these companies start to go. PGR is another one, of course, Progressive. You can see it up at the top, looks very similar to the index we were just looking at. Chubb Corp is starting to turn around to the downside. Allstate pulling back, right? Travelers starting to crack. So we'll see what happens with these. Does it start to keep coming on the low end side of things? We'll see what happens. I don't trade insurance companies too often, but there's a trend there, definitely to note. All right, let's keep going, guys. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Let me know what's your top trade today, and we'll keep it going. We'll take a look at some of the action that you guys are watching. It's about to be 9 a.m. Let's take a look at the scanners, seeing what we're seeing out there. Of course, here are some volume scanners to kind of keep an eye out for. I do see some regional banks there.
ADCT is a top one. We'll see what happens there. That's a biotech moving this morning. Not much action on the pre-market. A lot of kind of spready action there, but doesn't look too bad to keep an eye out for. We'll see what happens there on ADCT, guys. Let's see what else is out there. If you guys have a stock you guys want to check on the Gapper scanner, throw it up there, guys. We'll take a look into it, see if it has some news. I can take a look on Benzinga. We'll see what happens there. CSLR, Complete Solaria, solar stock, getting a big lift this morning. Yeah, it's up there. It's up there back towards $2 and actually came from below $1. So big lift here. This stock getting a nice little push in the morning here. Let's see the 5-minute chart. You can see a nice little decline, held that 9 EMA. Momentum is holding right now. Will the momentum crack? Keep an eye on that 9 EMA right now. We've had about 3 peaks, right? So you got to just 1, 2, 3. I'll be looking for one more kind of breakout back to the upside. We'll see what happens with this one. And then looking for the pullback. Pullback levels for me are going to be off of the hourly chart, back down towards kind of the 175 range or 150 would be pullbacks to look for. Right now, continuing hot, CSLR. Let's take a look at BW. Another $1 stock starting to get a little lift in the pre-market. Up there towards 176, continuing to push. Diversified Industrials, an area that we've been watching. What's the other name that we've been watching in this one? I forgot the ticker, man. I know I'm watching GE. There's another one. I think it's SPR. No, it's not SPR. Which one was it? Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. Let's learn a little bit, guys. We'll do a little teaching lesson for myself and you guys, right? So what I'll do is I'll go to the industry, right? So Diversified Industrials. We'll go to the top, right? The top names are what? GE, right? You got ETN, ITW. These are all names that kind of keep an eye out for. Emerson Electric, Diversified Industrial, starting to push. This one actually not looking too bad on the day. You guys can keep an eye out on certain names here. That's what I like to do. I start to learn a little bit more about what's going on in these diversified industrials. Rockwell Automation actually doesn't look too bad, right? This one actually turning back to the upside. So keep your eyes on these. These are diversified industrials. GE, we'll see if it starts to make that move to 170. We've been keeping an eye on this pattern, but it hasn't broken down or broken out of it. We'll see what happens there in GE. All right, catching up with the chat. What's up out there? Palantir and Snow breaking resistance. So that's why it's on my list. Yeah, can't go wrong with that, man. There's a reason why I'm swing trading Palantir. We're up there to 25.50s, guys. Not looking too bad on the swing trade side of things, that's for certain. As we continue to push higher, I'll be seeing what I do with this position right now, where I'm at 24.07 for the long. It's at 25.55, guys. I'm feeling good. I'm looking for this to get that run to 30s and then really take off. A run there towards 28 or 30s will definitely get me to take some profit and then look at the rest to get that nice little boom above these levels. And of course, there's a lot of what we call overhead supply right in this area. Now you're starting to get above that area. And look at the weekly chart. 3 straight weeks of green, 4 straight weeks of green. We could pull back to the 2380s level. If that does happen, I'll be probably adding. But for right now, looking for the breakout, especially back towards the left, above the 2750s and continuing to push there towards the 30s. We'll see what happens in Palantir. Snow is definitely a nice one too, Noli. We talked about it right here, right? We were looking at PanW. This is just starting to turn, getting that push there to 140. Keep your eye on PanW to stay strong for this continued to push. You can see it here. Now still continuing to try to climb up towards the gap fill, towards around 362. We could see a little bit of a kind of a pullback on PanW, then a solid push. So it's not just straight up, right? But something to keep an eye open for. PanW has been hot. CrowdStrike is another one in the same space to keep an eye open for that has been making a push. Zscaler also, ZS, right? This one's a little bit of a turnaround off of a bottoming look. So we'll see what happens there in Zscaler. Not a bad one to keep an eye out for. Snow, Palantir, all doing well. All right, so what time frame do you use for entry? Well, it all depends, man. A lot of the times when I'm doing swing trades, a lot of this is going to be more off of daily, hourly, and then 15-minute charts. Those are my swing trading charts a lot of the times. Day trading charts, right? Day trading charts are going to be dependent on bigger resistance and support. Hourly gives me those levels. And then a lot of the times I'm going to go ahead and go into tighter time frames, like 5s and even 1 minutes. But the idea there is to make sure that I understand the deeper time frame resistance and support that will show up a lot of times on the hourly. And especially these penny names, like let's say CSLR, right? A lot of the times you'll see me even show the hourly chart. Why? Because I'm looking for those hourly pullbacks around the 90 EMA to hold. That's a pullback here to 157. So that's where it becomes a similar area. Some people like to just use the fibs on something like this and say 50%, 171, golden mean, 61.8 towards 160. Well, now I know the area around where I can look to see some pullback buys. We'll see what happens there. Lycee showing up there today. What's up, Lucy? And there you guys see it. This is down back to 562. Was making a pop there to the 7s. We'll see if this can keep moving. Really showing up there. That's a $5 reversal stock. Looks like we got a stock split here. Yeah, big stock split. 1 for 17, coming down from 70 cents. Back up there towards the $5 spot in the pre-market. Was all the way up there and starting to push there. This is a stock split, guys. It could go both ways, right? Could first get a lift, then crash, or it could just crash right back down. We've been seeing a lot of these reverse splits. Thanks, bro. Using the 1 hour, 15 and 5, but my entry is 2 minutes. Now, one thing to note, though, and we can talk about this future day trade billionaire because I think it's important to keep an eye out for moments like this, right? So when we're using multiple time frames, understand also what it really shows us, right? So like, let's say like for the hourly, right? So 1 hourly candle, right? And then let's take a look at Chewy for this, right? 1 hourly candle is going to be what? It's going to be 4 of the 15, right? And it's going to be what? 3 of the 5 minutes in that 15. And then going back towards 1 minute, 5 1-minute candles make up the 5-minute candle, right? And so I think this is very important to somewhat note because this is somewhat can give you an edge in the market with this. I do this all the time where I'm like on the 5-minute chart, it's the last minute or two in the 5-minute candle that I pay attention to the most. Why? Because the next candle's coming and it's going to give me a closing price that I can go off of. We'll see what happens on Chewy this morning. It's trying to get a little bounce there off the 30.69s. We'll see if this actually can make a lift. For right now, I'm not feeling too confident about Chewy. Took a big haircut on Friday to take a shot on this stock. So we'll see if this actually starts to make a lift during the open versus trying to play it too much in the pre-market and getting washed out. We'll see what happens there on Chewy if this can start working its way. All right, team, let's keep it going, guys. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Pinky's on up, guys. It's going to be a interesting week, of course. We got a small amount of trading on Wednesday, only open till 1 p.m. And then on Thursday, we get off, right? Hey, shout out to you guys. July 4th. I hope you guys enjoy it in the United States. And for those international traders, well, enjoy just that day off, right? I mean, go do something. Go enjoy the family. Go outside, especially. I'm all about going outside. So Pinky's up this morning, guys. Let's get after it. Let's see what we can find in the trading action. All right, guys, a lot of action out there to take a look at. Let's go and looking into different stocks here, especially towards the open. Want to be watching some of the bigger names, but I got a lot of plays that I can think about, right? I got shorts that I can think about in apparel, right? And shoes and footwear, right? I can take a look at the Macy's short that I was thinking about. It's actually been holding in here. And if Macy's can cut down back through 18, this actually looks like an opportunity for me. So there's a lot to take a look at. Department stores breakdown. That's a Walmart trade to the downside, right? Maybe Costco breakdown right back through the 850s. There's a lot to take a look at here. Costco back to 870s can definitely be concerning, but something to keep an eye open for. Defensive stocks. Those stocks started to pull back there late into the week. So you can see it here on the week. It was actually red candle as it came up early in the week, but ended red. So something to keep an eye open for. Sorry about that, guys. A little sneeze action this morning. Let's keep going, guys. At least I was able to get the mute button there. All right, let's see. Defensives turning around there. Definitely getting a little bit of a kind of a head and shoulders top. But I wouldn't focus on this too much because it's kind of short term. But the weekly can show it here, right? You can see the action right here. This would be the left shoulder, right shoulder, the head right here. So let's start seeing if this can break what they call the neckline, right? Because that's what really matters. What I'll do is I'll draw a trend line from this down point right here as being the neckline, where it would need to like break here and start to break down through that to really show me that it wants to go red. I'll draw it here to keep an eye open for it. We'll see if defensives start to crash down. Where was the place that we saw leaking, of course, last week was with GIS and packaged foods. And you can see the leak here, how it's starting to pull back. That was General Mills with the big hit down, right, on the daily and weekly with the gap down. Now, taking a look here, Kraft Heinz starting to pull back there. Multiple lows in this area and looking like it could break yearly lows, right? I mean, this is something to keep an eye open for, but look at the monthly chart. Look how this is really starting to break down. Doesn't look good there for the packaged goods area. MKC was actually getting a little bit of a gap up. Could come right back. HRL, you can see how this has come down pretty good. So there's a lot of action here that's definitely taking a hit. We'll see what happens there. I saw Campbell's Soup. I think they're selling off their kind of Redbox acquisition. Who's going to Redbox anymore? Who even uses the DVD player anymore? If you guys use a DVD player out there, please let me know in the chat, because I don't even know anybody that has a DVD player anymore, unless it's in like the Xbox or the PS5 or something like that. But we'll see what happens there. Definitely smash the like out there, team. A lot to go on. SJM, the Smuckers, it's down to 110. It isn't looking that good there either, guys. Discount stores, of course, we've talked about that. Farm products look a little bit better. Soft drinks are on the pullback as of late. Celsius has been coming down fast, guys, from 100 towards 56 in a hurry, guys. So that could affect the overall industries. How's Monster doing there? Also on the fast pullback. So keep your eyes open for that as we continue to see the takedown there. Coke has been up here, though. So that's one thing to note. Coke is pretty high up. Will Coke start to turn around? It's something to keep an eye open for. Taking a look at industries this morning. We'll see what happens out there in a minivan. What's up out there, Paul? What are you doing, man? You trading out of a minivan? You got the Elon Musk internet for me? Hey, you got to do what you got to do to trade sometimes. I've seen some traders out there in a van trading on Elon. Trading up there. I mean, you can't blame them. I know a couple of people that have Starlink, right? EMPH is an interesting price. Which way will it go? EMPH is kind of a high flyer that loves to come up and down, right? So when it trends up, it has a trend up, right? But then it also kind of breaks down. And boy, is it an elevator move down like you see it here. Big move up, big move down, big move up, big move down, big move up, big move down. So just be careful with that one. Definitely not something I'd catch on the falling knife side of things. It's something that I try to jump on the momentum sometimes and just ride the momentum. But as you can see, this one breaking down big. FSLR, of course, the favorite right now, just took a major dump on Friday, back to 224, back down there towards almost the 200. I remember I was playing shorts around the 286, but boy, was it hard to play through this action. And now you're finally starting to get that pullback. So with that mentioned, you could see other solars take a little bit of a pullback look. These solar stocks haven't been the best, and I can take a look at TAN, but TAN always does bad. The solar ETF, you can see it here, man. I've been waiting for one day for this to turn, but for right now, it isn't it, guys. There is a trade in SunPower that happens often that I'll be looking for. It has a tendency of happening in the late kind of the summertime, right? And so you do sometimes have this like kind of big push in solar stocks, and it's usually at the end of July going into August. So I will put that on the radar, and I'll even put it on the radar for SunPower itself, right? If it comes back into this gap, I think that's something that we need to pay attention to. I'll put an alert at 328, which is still a little bit above it. It needs to kind of really get some momentum, but not a bad one to keep on the radar, especially if you understand the seasonality aspects of this trade. And I can show it in the past. I'll make sure to kind of put out a post about it. I've showed the SunPower seasonal chart before and how it has a tendency of making a little run towards the back end of summer. Of course, one of the top trades this morning is going to be looking to see what happens in oil. So XLE definitely on the radar. VLO, we'll see what happens on these energy names. PSX, can it continue to lift? That's one of my top watches. I already got the swing trade on the XLE, so we'll see what happens on that. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the swing trade side of things, and then we'll go ahead and focus on the day trades. That's 9:15 and getting ready here for the open. Walmart still a little down there. We'll look for a little bit of a pop here to get an ad fill on Walmart this morning. Doesn't look too bad. My position in the red the most, which is going to be Affirm. Affirm, we've talked about what I'm looking for it to hold here is kind of the $28 on pullback, but really it's all about the daily chart. Wanted to see Friday's level break, the 2960s here. So it's kind of like a throwback look. It needs to kind of just bounce and get right back up there. We've had a couple of attempts to get back here through this trend line. Need to start looking for a move back towards 35. If we could get that lift to 35, things are going to be looking a lot better for the push back here towards the 39 and 40s. But we need a turn, because if not, 28, that support could go, and that means we got to go also. I'll get cut there, so we'll see what happens on that one. Right now, down decent amount, about 50 bucks. Got about 80 shares though, so bigger position, right? Need to kind of focus on it to see what happens towards the gate. Going to look for it to kind of hold the 30, recover the 31 today. That'd be a big level to watch. All right, guys, happy July 1st. Definitely pinkies on up. We're getting new monthly charts, and I think that's also important to watch. That's why you see me pull to monthly charts today and kind of focus on that as a long-term aspect. Whether it be kind of like Apple, right? You can see the monthly chart. It was a great month for Apple, great month for Google, right? Great month for Amazon, great month for even Tesla as we start to turn things around, right? So things don't look too bad out there. Nvidia, finally a little bit of a pullback action, but I mean, it's pretty much going sideways, not much action there. Others really taking off, right? AVGO took a big lift there. ASML, a lot of the equipment material stocks got a big lift in the last month. TSM, look at this chart, guys. TSM is one of the ones that is not being talked about, but it's making a very similar to Nvidia-like move, where in the last 9 months, this is up 105%. And I gotta say, I got this one wrong, guys. Sometimes you're going to get it right. Sometimes you're going to get it wrong. In this chart, overall, long term, I've had it wrong. And you got to be able to talk about that, right? A lot of traders will hide and be like, well, I was never bearish on TSM. No, the truth is I was, because of the China situation, right? We were worried about China invading Taiwan or taking back Taiwan, whichever way you want to look at it. But the truth is here, this is the shakeup. Somewhere along that line, investors made the decision that that was not happening, at least in their eyes, and that they were going to go long TSM, probably based on Nvidia doing so well and the semiconductors overall doing well. So there's that big push, and now you're seeing that continued to push. We'll see if that can keep lifting on TSM and just continue to rise and rise. This is one of the best names, of course, if you're just focusing on the company. But the question is, of course, it has those political issues that could come into play. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what else is out there, guys. XOM eats too much buying power. Yeah, I mean, you can do Oxy and Chevron, whichever one, right? I mean, when you talk about buying power sometimes with XOM, I think you just got to remember, I mean, the truth is that there's a lot of these oil stocks that are up above 100. But it's all about how much the stock moves also. I think that's the reason why I like trading Valero, because when I've seen this stock make a move, it's been like these big drives, right? So like you see this choppy bottom, big drive up. Choppy top, big drive down. Choppy bottom, big drive up. Choppy bottom, I'm going to look for a big drive up. This is just what I play with Valero. And I've played Valero plenty of times on both sides, the short and the long side of things. So that's something to keep an eye open for different type of action. Live today, Bullseye, you're live, man. I love to see it. Had a few early errors, of course. Be careful out there, guys. Oh, and Bullseye, you said you wanted to get a little bit more of some hotkeys action. I know that we got some basic ones for you. But I will show you today some other ones that you can be using right on the chart. So I've already shown you guys some of them with the close and the reverse. Today, I'll show you guys the buy on the ask, the buy market, the sell bid right there, buttons that are available to you right on the chart for chart trading. Stick around, team. I'll show you guys what's up out there. And bulls, let me know, man. You're welcome to come on and trade live with me, man. The door is wide open for you, man, especially you're taking some other shots out there. I hope the first trade goes great for you guys. Going to trade small today to make sure day one smooth. Hey, yeah, that's actually not a bad outlook. I wish you the best, man. Stay in the green. Keep battling. All right, FJF, good morning. How you doing out there, man? Smash a like. Take profit, stop loss too. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, if the profit's there, take the money and run. There's nothing wrong. My list today: Snow, Palantir, Tesla, Chevron, Oxy, Moderna. And then EMPH, something to keep an eye open for. Moderna's been on that pullback, something to watch, but not something that looks too sexy for me right now. But we can take a look at that stock, or we can take a look at some other ones. You guys throw them up, guys. It's 9:20. We got about 10 minutes for the bell. If you guys are watching for some reason on X and you guys want to join a little more in the chat conversation, don't forget, you guys can be tuning in on YouTube, on Twitter. We're out there all over, Facebook, Twitch even, guys. I know there's not a lot of you guys probably trading on Twitch, but smash the like for that. I wonder. I need to go on Twitch a little bit more. That's an area that I definitely don't know. All right, let's keep taking a look there. We can go to sectors and industry. Healthcare has remained hot, right? Energy, I'm going to look for that to turn around and make a break to the upside. But what else can make a break to the upside? Well, technology, of course, can continue to go. Financial services have pulled back, and we're recently starting to prop. And we started to see even the retail trade start to turn around to the upside. We'll see what happens on XRT. But I was looking at what I wanted to bring in is the regional bank action. So taking a look at the regional bank action, I think is something to keep an eye open for. And you can see here, regionals. Let's take a look here. Regionals started to make that little peak to the upside. And of course, I've bet against these companies in the past. I think they're going to have a tough 2025, but that doesn't mean that they can't run into that 2025 move. If you take a look here at the monthlies, what are you seeing here? This banks especially, I like to look on the monthlies because you get to see this kind of downside pull. A lot of volume came in on this action where some people were a little bit scared of the regional banks. Maybe some longs came in there. Now, can it really take it back through the 40? That's something to keep an eye open for. And the global banks are also making a nice lift off and starting to push. So keep your eyes on that. That's JPM. That's Bank of America, right? We'll see if this can continue to push, starting to push back to the upside. Wells Fargo or Wells Fargo. We'll see what happens to that one. Or the crazy one, or at least crazy for me, Citigroup. We'll see if that one can get back up there. I don't trust that one bit. I have traded some other ones in here, right? Goldman Sachs, I like trading sometimes. Nothing wrong with that. That's in the capital market space. And you guys can see here on the monthly how that's been really hot, made pullbacks, and now can make the next step up. Morgan Stanley in that spot. Yes, looking at Morgan Stanley, guys, I've actually traded this to the long and the short side of things. And now you're kind of going sideways. You have this price consolidation. You have a gap right above you to start making a move. This looks like a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders on the daily. Now let's see if we can make the move and actually start going back through the 98s, 99, 100. Looks like a good target for Morgan Stanley. We'll see what happens there. Schwab, I definitely don't like at all, just because I've seen so many traders have issues with everything that Schwab has. So Schwab, fix your crap, man. That's the truth, guys. So many traders struggling with Charles Schwab lately. Don't worry. I don't use you, Charles Schwab, so you can't take me out. You can't take away my account for talking bad about you. I don't like you, but that's okay. You don't always have to like everything in the financial space, right? That's what it's all about. That's true. All right, guys. Mitch is even on OnlyFans. Man, what wisdom. Come on, man. I ain't trying to make that much money. Let's keep going, guys. Congratulations, Bullseye. Get after it, my friend. All right, let's see what money is out there to be made today. Going to take a look. Of course, oil is on the radar. I'm going to take a peek here to take a look back towards WTI to see how that's doing this morning. WTI, just keep taking a look at it just to see if we're starting to make a little bit of a run this morning. We were down there towards around 81.76 around 6 a.m. Now we're starting to make another push here towards the 82.25s. I'm looking for a run in oil to 83 on WTI. If that can start going to 83, 85, that could really get these stocks going, which I'm going to try to ride the momentum on. Now it's just time to wait and find out what happens towards the bell. All right, guys, we got about 5 minutes left here. Switching over to the day trade side of things, going to get ready to take some action here out the gates. We'll see what happens on some of the swing trades. I'm going to lower this down so you guys can keep up with the positions in the bottom right corner. If you guys have any questions about any position, please let me know. I'll definitely talk a little bit about it. All right, let's go and, of course, take a look at some of the trade idea scanners. I'm going to get these ready to go for the bell here. I always got these ready. Of course, you guys can take a look at trade ideas yourself. If you guys get our packages, of course, not the mini one, but the bigger ones, you guys can go ahead and join the party with these, right? Another one that I'm going to start using and bringing to the screen for you guys is Bookmap. So definitely smash the like if you guys are Bookmap users, and we'll keep pushing. Maybe I get onto the TrendSpider action, show you guys some different chartings. I like TrendSpider for the action that they have. Of course, there's certain advantages to every platform, and you guys just got to check them out and find what works best for you. Slumberjay, we'll see what happens on that one. SLB, I've traded this one in the past, or the Slumburger, as I like to call it. All right, what else is out there, guys? Smash the like, guys. It's 9:26. We're getting towards the bell. Let's take a look at the Chewy action. Of course, Chewy, getting that announcement, was moving this morning pretty significantly, but now on the big pullback and trying to wash out some more traders. This has been a frustrating trade, to say the least. As you're seeing, a lot of traders probably take a look at it this morning, back down towards the $30. We'll look to see if this bottoms out. On the 5-minute, you got now that nice lift, right? Pullback, lift, pullback. We'll look to see when we actually start getting a move towards this trend line. We still haven't gotten it. I'm still looking for more pullbacks. This just doesn't look good. Really needs to get hot for me to even pay attention to it. It is trading a lot of shares, but not a lot of action on those shares. Ulta is one to also take a look at for maybe potential swing trade towards finally catching some lift, man. This thing's gone sideways off this 385. I'm wondering if this ever comes back. And with that being mentioned, you can take a look at ELF there towards 216 and continuing to push. One of the best trades, of course, for 2024 has actually been this ELF. It's up about 53% for the year. Not looking too bad on ELF Beauty. And man, this thing was a $30 stock in 2022 and has gone in about 2 years, almost 450%. What a run in ELF. Couldn't expect it, right? Estee Slaughter, struggling as this keeps going lower. Of course, household and personal products, expensive stuff. Put it this way, I don't shop at Estee Lauder. Let me know if you guys shop out there. Been playing Texas Banks. We'll see what happens on that. TCBX. Okay, Wisdom. I don't know those, I'll tell you that much. But hey, there's so many regional bank action. You got to be careful out there. All right, guys, it's about 9:28. What do we got here? There's the bell. Come on, come at me. Let's go ahead. Let's get trading here. We got about minute 40 left. Minute 40, guys. Definitely take a look to see what happens. Out the gates, going to be watching kind of the oil names out the gates to see how those kind of perform, whether it be XLE or Valero, names like that. I definitely would want to trade. Was able to trade Valero on Friday and make a little bit of a gain. So let's see if this gets moving today, and we'll see what happens in some of these oil names. The gap scanner, of course, CSLR, the top kind of cheap name this morning, was making a move. Has been going kind of sideways here. I talked about maybe you getting one more attempt towards the upside. We got that attempt. 1, 2, 3, 4. Has been trying to get through the 225s and struggling. Now could potentially pull back. Complete Solera. It's a solar stock, a brand new one. It seems like, because I've never heard this one. CSLR. Seems like it's been around for some time now, but man, I've never even heard of this one. It looked like it IPO'd in 2023. It's definitely not one that I've heard of before. We'll see if it can hold the breakout. Tesla in a nice pre-market range. Yes, it is. And we'll see if it kind of gets that lift. It's already kind of climbing since the pre-market. I mean, on Friday, you got a nice little pullback opportunity back below the 200. And right there, it's back already above the 200. So that's a nice swing trade within itself. That's something that you could just be like kind of selling and getting the heck out. But we'll see what happens there in Tesla. Good morning action there. On. Will this kind of cut down to the downside? Still looking at this one for a potential downside break, and then get shorting on this one. So we'll see what happens on that if it starts to break the 38 level. There's the bell. There's the alerts. Let's get to the action. You guys know where you're at, of course. Let's see what we can come up with today. A lot of action. It's time, traders. Hit that bell. Let's go. It's time. Let's go, traders. Let's see what we can come up with today. Ready to come after it and find some good trading action. Of course, oil names is going to be something I'm watching out the gates here. I'm seeing XLE jump up there towards that 91.85. Now starting to pull back a little bit. Looking at Valero. Valero's already up there to 158.47s. Not going to step up to the jump right now because we could get hourly pullbacks on that hourly pullback. That's a move back towards like 156 for Valero. We'll see. I can look at Gush to see if maybe I get an earlier trade on oil as just like a leverage trade to go really quickly in and then see this kind of pop above. We'll see what happens on this one. That's Gush. Also taking a look there. There's oil trying to hold in there. Going to continue to watch to see if it can get into the 83s and 84 handle. That's going to be something to watch there. Mara with a big lift here out the gates, catching that pop towards 2070s. Mara has been one that I've been kind of flipping back and forth on whether I feel like this is going to be the breakout. Overall, the daily chart has that potential for the breakout, but we've been hearing a lot of negative news with what's going to go on in a situation of a bankruptcy where they're going to be giving a lot of Bitcoin back to some traders out there. And some people are thinking that these traders are probably going to sell and take their money and run, but we'll see what happens. Mara trying to make a move back through the 2080s. Clean Spark is another one to watch with this, right? Will this make a move back above 17 today? Something to keep an eye open for. All right, guys, let's get back to the scanners actions here. CSLR, one to watch there. HCC showing up there on my scanner. Coal stock with a big push there, guys. Coal, big push there, getting up there towards the 72. Now pulling back here. We'll see what happens on HCC. Not a bad stock there as you're getting the nice little breakout in coal. And you see coal, big push there. What other ones can we take a look at in this spot, right? I could take a look at AREC, BTU, one to kind of keep a watch on. A CEIX, one that I look at all the time. Now starting to push. Nice little kind of pullback look. Now trying to go higher. We'll see what happens on CEIX, trying to push. But the big thing with these coal players you got to be careful with is the spread, right? The spread could get you. BTU trying to make another move up. We'll see what happens on that one. But HCC leading the way there in coal, trying to get another step up there. Got all the way past the 72s. Look to see pullbacks back towards the VWAP. Big move there on HCC. ASNS, let's take a look here. This was one that we talked about on a Friday, I believe. ASNS, yes, we've been looking at this one kind of building. Will it make the move back there towards 3? Something to keep a watch open for, just above the $2 spot. All right, let me take a big breath here and look for a trade action out there. You guys let me know what stock you guys are taking a look at. Noli's like Palantir and Tesla already. We'll see what happens on that. Palantir, how'd that one start open? Ooh, looking good in the swing trade side of things as that one's up there to 25.80s. Can it get there towards the 26? AMD, of course, pulling back here. We need to take a look at my AMD trade as we're probably going to get right back into a dangerous spot here on AMD. Let's take a look there. AMD's getting the wipeout this morning. Whoa. What is going on here, guys? All right, let's take a look there. AMD, right? Something to keep a watch. Definitely not going to let my position go into the red, right? That's something to keep an eye open for. Was up big on this, and it's pulling back, trying to wipe out some traders. Down to 158.30s. We'll look to see if I get cut out in AMD today, but big pullback there in AMD. Definitely probably washing out some traders. Be careful out there, guys. All right, guys, let's see how the swing trade side of things are doing. Down is Affirm. Palantir doing really well, guys. So that's one thing to keep an eye open for. Walmart actually going into the green here for me. I'm going to actually step up to the plate on this short of Walmart here. So I'm trying to add to the short here right around 67.75, 67.80s. Wouldn't mind that. So let's see if I can get a little bounce here. Just keep adding. But definitely looking to get short here on Walmart today. Let's see if I can get a little bounce there. Trying to get short here. Might not have enough shares here. Yeah, I don't have enough buying power. I need to go ahead and kind of see which position I could sell and kind of adjust to, right? That's what I'll be looking at. Shop pulling back big. This was up big, guys. Now it's starting to pull back here right towards my entry here. So I'm going to probably keep it pretty tight here on Shop, probably right below 65s. Probably only give it about, what, $10 risk here. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it like $11 risk here. 64.85s. Could get stopped out right now. It's pulling back there pretty fast there, trying to stop people out here on Shop. Big red day on Shop on the pullback. We'll look to see if it bounces back. I have it set at 64.80s right now. We'll look to see if it bounces back. If it does cut me out, that'll give me an ability to look for some ads on Walmart and look to see what happens there in Affirm as it is on the pullback right now. Affirm, where's it at? I'm going to take a look at that one because I am looking to try to get some out there on Affirm. Let's take a look here. All right, still hasn't gotten back through the 30.50. We're going to continue to watch to see what happens at the 30 spot. Looking for a run back there to 30.80s to take maybe half of it out, and then I can reload into this position. Palantir, the best one right now. AMD definitely pulling back fast. We'll look to see if we get a bounce. And does that show me Nvidia with a downturn? Boom, there it goes. Nvidia right back down and said, no, I don't want that 125. What's up with Apple? Look at Apple go, guys. Where's the rotation going? It's going in the big boys, guys. The big boys. It seems like it there. Let's take a look at Google. Google higher. Amazon higher. Let's take a look at another name, right? Like Microsoft. Softy on the pullback starting to rip to the upside. Looks to me like they're getting out of Nvidia and going towards other names. We'll see if they come back to these names, but definitely they're taking the hit on those and taking the profits and then switching over. It seems like, because Apple on that big push, man, this is on that 214. How's TSM? TSM is pulling back a little bit. We'll look to see if this gets right back up to the upside. This is not a bad one that I keep on the radar for a trade back to the upside. I like the TSM move. I just need to kind of see it start to work its way back above the VWAP and then make a run to 175.50s. It's not a bad one to watch. It's been strong as of late. We'll see if it makes a next step up. Hold the 9 EMA on pullbacks. That's 172.59. All right, guys, taking a look out there at the sectors. Healthcare, financials leading the way there. We talked about how that's strong. Energy with a nice little push. Of course, we're looking at that move. Gush trying to make a move above the 36 here. Could try to make a quick trade on Gush here. Don't mind it, guys. The only thing is it has to be a quick one here for me for a little bit of a pop above the 36, going to the 36.50s, and then just trying to get out at this. You can see the pullbacks at 35.50s multiple times. Now looking to see if we can get a run back here towards this trend line and get a nice little approach to break to the upside. Pullback holding the 35.70s now. It seems to make sense for me. So I'm going to be using that level to use that level for a breakout look above the 36 here. Don't mind it here, especially if I can get filled into the 80s and risk off like the 68 level. Let's see if I can get it here, guys. I'm going to go for a little bit bigger trade here right off the start here. This is on Gush, trying to get there, lower 80s. If I can get it there, maybe 85 for the entry, I'll get it. I'm looking to go ahead and get in. Let's go ahead. Let's switch over to the day trade side of things and get this running here. All right. There's the 81s on the bid side. I'm going to look for 84 on the offer here. Let's see if I can get it filled off of the 84s. All right. There you guys see I have the order out there trying to get filled. There's 2,300 at 73s, 2,300 at 35.58s, and then 36.11 there's 2,100 and 36.26 is 2,100. So we could get a pullback into the 70 spots here. I'm just trying to get filled on pullback here on the offer, but you can see it's at 35.96 and spreading out here. So might not be able to get the fill there. I'm going to cancel for right now, looking for the offer to jump down, and then I can just jump into it. Looking for some oil trades. Let's see what happens out there, guys. Valero, not bad looking there. PSX, trying to get above the 142. You could also take a look at MPC. That's one that I'm watching. There's XOM, right? Oxy, you can take a look at. XOM, nice little push to 116. We'll see if that takes the next step up. Gush, looking for the Gush. All right, here's 94s. Still not back into the 80s here. So that's what I'm looking for to maybe take a little bit of a shot here. Just got to be careful here, and then let's see if we can get this to start to push. Keeping a watch on that. That's kind of holding in right now. Shoes not really taking that downside look just yet. We'll see what happens on that. Mara, big push to 21.25. Let me know if you guys see any big moves out there. Mitch on the oil. I like playing SBR. Okay, I'll take a look at that action. Here's 96, trying to prop there. 90s showing up there. Let's see if we can get this to get. I'm looking for an entry, but I got to get the right entry, guys, and that's the important thing. If I jump up here on the 35.96, I can get an easy takeout through the 35.50s, and then we're just taking a big hit right off the start. That's not the idea here. The idea is build a little cushion and then take bigger swings. We'll see what happens on that. See if we can get a pullback here, and then a level where it breaks out above. So I'm looking below VWAP, which is 35.82. Mara looks like it's ready for a pullback, says Eric Russell. Eric, what's up out there, man? It's good to see you in the chat. We'll take a look at Mara right now. I've seen that kind of make a little bit of a push. Here's the pullback back to the VWAP. Will it hold VWAP and go back to the 21.25s, or will it crack down? You can see the hourly. It's been trying to get back up there, trying to break out of this sideways action. Really hasn't been able to. So we'll see if this actually is a VWAP bounce right back to the upside. I don't feel too confident in it, so that's why I'm leaving it alone. HUMA, biotech, getting a big push there. So HUMA up there to $6, now broke through the 550s, gave that nice little lift. Looking for pullbacks on that one. I'd be looking at like 575, 550s, but we'll see what happens on that one. DTSS is another one that's making a big push. This one had halted out the gates. That 680s could halt again through 7s here. We'll see if it gets that push. It's a software infrastructure name up there to 7. Could get the lift there. 875s, big support. It's about to hit as it could use its prior resistance, which is around the $7.37 spot. We're right off of that. We'll look to see what happens here in DTSS. No chance to get Gush there. No chance for me, man. This is not pulling back in the 35.80s, so I'd have to jump up to the 36. DTSS, we'll look to see if this gets a little lift there through the $7 spot. There's a seller up at the 718s. We'll look to see if that gets through that level. Here's the 7 outlook here. Will it get through and go towards the next halt? Doesn't look too bad. There's the 718s. There's the 720s. There's the pullback to 7 here. Have to hold off the 665s. Now you're back through the 7. Let's see if it gets that next level to the 8s here. Keeping an eye on the smaller name, DTSS. Definitely low share size, but nice big pop there to 750s now. Let's see if it starts to go for another halt move back there. Let's see what the first halt move was. It was about 65 cents here. So we're seeing 75 cents. We're close to that halt level. There's the 768s. Looks like it might get that halt right there at 768. Well, if you guys went after this one, not a bad one there for a second there. Was up there right below 7. Broke out there through the 7s. And giving you guys a little bit of some commentary this morning. Got to go focus on the trading action here, so I'm going to slow down looking at all the stocks. But you guys out there, if you guys see one moving, let me know. ICU is one that's making its move back to the upside here. We've taken a look to see if this one would turn around. This one did a 1 for 25 split, but it's running today up there back towards the 880s. MLGO is right back down today, so that one's actually looking like a little bit of a fade off, but we'll look to see if this one actually makes an up move, or does it just continue to break down through the 15, and that's on a high flyer like MLGO. Bullseye green on DTSS. Well, shout out to you, man. I wish you the best, man. Not bad. $13. Hey, go get me some good lunch, man. I won't be mad at you. We'll look to see if that DTSS gets the next step up there. Now it's back below 7. So an opportunity here, but definitely a dangerous one here as the spread widens out and it goes fast, man. There's 660s back down towards the 9 EMA. This is the level that I sometimes use off of but I'd have to risk an insane amount here. So not necessarily something that I love to use here, just because it's a low float name. I have to go in there at the 665s, use this low to the left, 645s as the risk. So that would be the risk right now. You can see it's tapping there on the bid off that risk, 645. Let's see if it takes out the 645, or does it go back to the 7? So that's kind of the look that I would look at. There's the cut down right below that 45, which could break down. Sava is starting to come back here, guys. Of course, that got a major hit. We'll see what happens on that one. All right, let's see what else is out there, man. A lot of action out there. Core taking a big hit. This has a split back above the $2. Nothing that I like there. HUMA up there to $6, still holding in on the pullback. Take it, man. Take it. Just testing the account with small size. Exactly, Bullseye. That's the best way to do it, man. Today's not the day to worry about the overall reward, like the realized money. On first days, a lot of the times I'll try to just focus on the percentage. It's okay to size down and just focus. Did I go green, and how green did I go? Did I get 5% on the account? Well, great day for me, right? Things like that. Things to be thinking about. Wish you the best out there, Bullseye. All right, guys, a lot of you guys joining in on X and, of course, on YouTube. We do this every single day, guys. If you guys don't tune in the morning, we start this at 8:30, where we do a little bit of watch list action. Let's take a look at some of the watch lists this morning and what we were looking at. On the playbook, what was the ideas that I was looking at? I was looking at XLE for the upside action, and look at that, 91, 93s, starting to push towards the 92. Valero holding in on the pullback right now, taking a look to see what happens in Gush. If I can get a pullback back down, I can take a look at this. But for right now, it is looking decent. That's a long oil trade outlook. We'll see if we're able to get some pullbacks into the 80s or the lower 70s here for Gush. That's what I'm looking for. I want an attempt here towards the 35 70s and then a turnaround back to 36. We'll see what happens there on Gush. Walmart to the short side of things. I kind of like that outlook too. We'll see if I already got a fill there. I'm pretty sure on the swing trade side of things. Let's go looking at that. Oh, I couldn't put it out. Remember? There he goes. I did get cut out of the shop position. I can see that, and AMD. So AMD out, guys. Affirm still in there. Walmart short. XLE long, right? We've seen XLE actually do pretty well here. So I can add to XLE back down towards the VWAP, which would be probably towards 9170s, 9150s. That's actually working pretty well there for me. I'm going to look to see if the Walmart short can turn right back to the downside here. And I can go after Walmart to the short side of things. But got to keep it close here, the 68.25s. Looking at the hourly chart, really want to get back through the 68.50s. So this could be kind of a trend line approach that rejects. We'll see what happens there. You can see how this is getting above that. Will it hold this level or break back through the 68? So that's kind of the level that I'd be watching for on the downturn. All right, let me go ahead and just set the risk there on Walmart. Always understanding risk first, then reward. I could risk back there towards the 69 level right now. Look for this to turn back towards the 68s. And if it comes back through my level, I could add through it here for a nice takedown attempt here. So that's what I'll have. I'll add for another short stop. Put it at the 67, 70 level. So if it comes back through my layer, I'll be adding. If it comes back up, I'll stop out there. Just setting up some swing trade action things. Let's go back to the day trade action things. Just trying to just keep mixing around, guys, because the truth is that's how I got to approach these accounts. Got to make sure that I'm protecting them in the morning and then trying to make that money. All right, Tesla, Palantir, and Chevron. Not bad moves, man. Not bad moves. Look at that. Chevron to the upside, 158.80s. So that one's a big one. Good job, Noli. Way to get after it, my friend. Gold, silver, oil, all up, baby. Let's go, oil. Let's go, man. All right, there you guys see it. Gush tried to get back into that 80s, went back into it, 87. Still hasn't broken this 36 here. Looking for quick pullbacks to add in Gush and get a really opportunity to get in this one. I don't want to step up to the plate above 36. Looking for the fake out to the downside to go ahead and get some fills. We'll see if that happens. break out above 36 and I'll just leave it here. It's just kind of holding in right now. I'm looking to see if it can make a move. All right, I can take a look at some other ones here like PSX. That's one that I can watch here that I don't mind taking a swing or a day trade in. You can see how this is kind of rounding in here. Could pull back to the 90 EMA, but volume is coming in it today. And that tells me something within itself. There's a big closing volume that was in on Friday. So the imbalance there was looking good to the upside. It's trying to hold the 142 pullback right now, which is a big level. Look to see if this makes a move there towards 143. Gush now towards 36.08. So not getting the pullback opportunity in Gush. I might have to go looking at the other trades, right? So that could be a PSX. You can see how we just did a little bit of a pullback. I'm going to look for a pullback to the VWAP here. Maybe 142s, 141.80s for the entry. Need pullbacks as I don't want to jump up in between the spread. Apple dumped. Let's take a look there. It did come back. I wouldn't say this is a dump. I think this is an opportunity here for me on the pullback level as Apple looks to kind of hold the 90 EMA and make a move back there to 216. It's a good little opening drive. Let's take a look at that. Qs overall, look at the dump on the Qs though. That is a little bit of a dump. That's a little bit more concerning as we start to get technology leading the downside action today. Yes, leading the downside action today. That means Nvidia is probably getting wrecked. There it is, back down to 119, rejected that 125 recovery we talked about in the pre-market. Now back down to 119. Big moves there in tech. And that's what stopped me out in AMD. Look at that move in AMD, down and vicious. It went, man, vicious. SMCI that we were looking at maybe potentially getting the bounce, 800 being a support. That thing was a big flop. That thing dumped out, man. SMCI, what happened, man? What happened? All right, so Walmart not looking bad. We'll see if that turns back, but defensive actually on the upside as we're getting downside in the market, right? Healthcare just pushing those strong. So keep your eyes on some of those healthcare names. Biotech still leading the action there. A lot of action, making a big push. SNTI, another one that kind of watching the penny names, trying to make a run towards the 50 cents right now. CTCX, ICU showing up there. So looking at the different names out there, HUMA pulled back to this 575, was up there to 625s just recently. Had a nice little spike here, HUMA. We'll look to see if it recovers 6. That's kind of the level that I like there. Maybe the 560s hold for recovery. We'll see what happens there. GovX shows up on there too. This one was a 355 stock. I know that you were playing this one before, Bullseye. What do you think about it now today? BLCN, we played that one. That was a auto manufacturer name that was making a little bit of a move recently. Now it's trying to make another move. Nothing that I really like there, but hey, we'll see what happens. EOSE, not looking too bad there. Gush still holding in there. Still no pullback in Gush, man. That's just lifting, guys. So I got to step up to the plate in PSX. PSX is the one that I'm probably going to step up to the plate because I'm not getting the action in the other ones for the pullback. So I'm going to take a look here to see if I can get this one and start to get a nice little fill action. I'd like 142 to show up so that I can get this, but taking a look at the bids here, maybe 86 shows up on the pullback. So VWAP right now at the 86. So you see pullbacks on the hourly are holding around the 141.20 area. All right, 142. Let's see if we can get just a little bit more drop here. And then I'm going to start trying to get in some ads here and start to fill on PSX. On another oil ticker for you. Yeah, there's a lot out there, man. On, starting to reject here. That's one that I want to take a look at for a short, guys. So let's see if I can get this starter here in PSX and then look for a on position too. I got the starter there. Just did 20 shares there. Want to add to this into the 80s, into the 141.50s. Look to see if it can hold this 141.24. Get back up towards 143. So just got a little starter there. 20 shares. On rejecting here. So this is one that I definitely want to look for a takedown. And this could be a really fast wash. So it could be off the 39 spot there. That's where you got to be careful, because the pushback, of course, could go back towards that 39. I'm looking for a little bit of a tick back here towards the VWAP, and then the rejection. Could go for the scalp look off this 38.50s. I want to see one more bounce towards 38.70s and then the washout. But if it just washes out here, it's okay. I can just look for maybe a break back up towards the 38.50s. Don't want to jump on it right there, but I do like this trade on for the short side of things today. And of course, that's off Nike and that action. PSX back towards 142. 142.80s here. There's 141.94s here. Let's see if we can get into the 80s here and just start to add there. There's 94s. Kind of holding in there off the 142. So I'm going to add a little bit more at the 142 spot here. Still looking for pullbacks back towards the 141.50, somewhere in there to get some ads. Looking for this to come to the upside today on PSX. Phillips, 66. All right, let's see what happens on that one. Getting a little bit of a pullback option here. So just looking for some pullback fills. Let's go. Let's get a little bit more here. And don't mind taking the shot. Just going to put some out there just in case I get quick pullback opportunities. I got the 80s set up there on a limit. Can still add about probably another 60 shares here. So another 20 share tranches there. We'll see if we get it. What's up out there, traders? How we doing? About 40 of you guys out on Twitter out there. What are you guys checking a look at on X? What are you guys trading? Where's the good names there? Holly was one of the names earlier this morning. Had some news out there. Let's go to the scanners here. Just taking a look at there, trying to find some good trades. There's some alert action there for me. I'll take a look at that in just a second here. Let me see what happened and what price alert. So it looks like CMG giving me a little price alert. And then on, man. There it goes, guys. On with a big flush down there, guys. So now I'm going to look for it to come back. But look at that. This one's actually looking pretty well already. Just need this to start working its way back to the VWAP. A little bit of a bounce into the 38.60s, 38.70s. And I'll definitely get short on this one. But doesn't look too bad there, just to kind of do a chase down towards the 38.50s, risking off of that level for it to come down and continue to break down. This one broke down on Friday, back down to 38.20s. That could be the next layer for the breakdown. We'll see if this one can bounce just a little bit. Then I'll look for a nice takedown. HUMA trying to recover that 6 spot there. There's 580s there holding in. The 570s actually looking pretty decent here. We'll look to see if it makes that next lift. 5-minute low just got put in around the 560s here. So it doesn't look too bad on this HUMA. Doesn't really look bad at all there. Going to take a look at PSX in just a second here, but I have an ability to add there. I put the limit out there. So let me just focus on a different name, HUMA here. Doesn't look too bad. I kind of like the setup here. Just need to risk off the 67s here. So let's go ahead. Let me see if I can get this and get this to just start jumping here. Big level is there's 3,000 at the 570s and sellers in the 6. Sellers just above in the 6. There's the 590s here. Going to look to see if I can get the 588s here on just a quick pullback and then hold off of just below the 580s here. Was a little slow on that entry, guys. Should have been able to get in there. Just slow on the entry. 90s should have been my entry there, and I don't want to step up now at 6. Missing the little bit of the spike right now. Looking for pullbacks back towards the 589s to join the party, but definitely missed the entry there. A little bit slow on the reaction. On now 38.30s, so that's a nice little flush down, and I'm seeing the Skechers starting to break down, and that one looked a little bit clearer for me. Nice little rejection off the 69.25 level. So if I can get 69 here, I don't mind shorting on Skechers. Let's go shorting on Skechers, man. All right, let me see if I can get a little pop here back towards the 69s. We'll take a little bit on that action and then look to really add there above the 69s. Don't mind it. Let me go ahead and I'll put an order out there. 200 shares there sitting at the 69. Looking for a little bounce here towards like 69.20s, 69.30s. Then I can really short off the 69.60 area where it rejected. All right, back to PSX here. No entries for that. That's just kind of holding in right now. Has made a couple of pullback opportunities here. So it doesn't look too bad to maybe take the shot in PSX. Just got to hold on there. We'll see if I can get some fills on pullbacks right now. Still no fills on that pullback. Here's that attempt here to get a little bit of a pullback fill. We'll look to see if I get it. Still 41.90s now on the offer. That could be the area that I could take a little bit of an ad on it. But for right now, just kind of holding in here, looking for the next step up there. XLE now pulling back a little bit. Gush still not making that move. So we'll see what happens if it does do a pullback. On, man. Now down to 38.25s. Looking to get that short. Skechers not bouncing there for me, not giving me the fill, man. Missing a little bit of this footwear short outlook. Going to take a look to see what happens out there, but definitely I like this opportunity. Just need to get in. Walmart, I'll look for that to continue to come right back down there. Mara kind of holding in here, guys. This is the pattern for Mara. It's trying to get back there to the 21.25s. HUMA back up there to 612s. Definitely missed out on that one. Could have been able to take the shot there right back through the 6, but no move on that. A little bit of hesitation today. Got to shake it, guys. Shake it and bake it, baby. DTSS back down towards the $6 spot. Still hasn't gone to the next level. It actually halted on the downside of things, and then now it's starting to work its way back. We'll see what happens on that one. Definitely a short flow stock that's just getting a big push. MLGO trying to get back there towards the 15s. PSX on the pullback here, guys. So definitely getting that pullback attempt on PSX here. I'm going to go ahead and try to get an ad in just a second here. See if I can get a little drop there back below the 41.80s here. It's a little slow here on PSX. There's not much volume right now. I think a lot of this has to do also the market overall just taking a big beating, guys. Man, Skechers just going lower there, not being able to get the entry there. That's a little bit frustrating on that one. Skechers right back down on Skechers. All trades that I was looking at this morning, just not being able to get after this right now. So we'll see what happens. But man, missing out on these trades, that's for sure. PSX there back towards 41.81s. This is where I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of an ad here. All right, guys, have an average here, and I'll show you guys it right now at the bottom here. Got 141.96, about 60 shares there. Canceling my ad right now as I get a little bit of a pullback there. There's 41.60s here, so I could add in there off the 41.20s is where I got to start to risk there. Doesn't look too bad. I am getting a little bit of a decline here, so just got to be a little bit careful, making sure that the 5-minute lows are holding in, and then we get a 5-minute bar back to the upside here. Just looking for the pullback opportunity here to add. Then I'll look for this to get right back up there. Big part of it will be if XLE can make the move. Man, that on, that's going to frustrate me. And so is Skechers, man. No fill on the backside of Skechers right now. On, just getting hit there back towards 38.22s. So a little frustrated I'm missing those plays. And you guys know it. There's one thing that definitely frustrates me is making that all that look, then not taking the trade. The trade was there. Just wasn't able to get it. SNTI, you can see it up there to 52 cents, trying to hold in, trying to make the next step up there. So keep your eyes on that one. Definitely an explosive winner today. All right, PSX back here towards the 141.72s, 141.50s here. Going to go ahead and just keep trying to size in at the right levels here. Looking for a little bit of a dip into the 60s to add another little bit here. 65s, have it out right now. Just looking for a little dip there. On, now down to 38.11. Skechers down to 68.66. Man, I'm struggling on that footwear stocks. Maybe I go short in the Crocs. Crocs is just starting to break. I see the footwear accessory area as a place for shorts, and that's already starting to drop. Here's the Crocs trade. You guys see it just rejecting that 148, but the problem with this one is the spread is so wide, man. That spread is wide. Crocs. Look to see if this gets back down to the 144 level. That's kind of the level that I'd look at. I need some bounces towards 148 on the bid. So it need to come with showing up like 149 on the offer, 148 on the bid. That's the only way I can come after this one. I hate chasing, guys, and it's like that right now. On, downside. Skechers, downside. I want these names, but the flush is already on. All right, for Skechers, I'm going to cancel my order because it's just sitting out there and not getting any bounce there. So I'll look to see if it bounces, but man, these are just kind of getting hit right now. PSX, did I get that fill? Let's see here. Yep, got that fill there, got that ad there in the 60s here now towards the 141.80s with about 80 shares here. Looking for the 142 recovery. We'll look to see if that makes that move. Down closer towards the price action right now. So that's actually making me feel confident. Just got to stick in and make sure that I understand the risk to return. That's what it's always about. We'll look for this one to push back through 143 is really the outlook for the break to the upside. XLE pulling back there. We'll take a look at that gush on the pullback. So that's also giving me an opportunity for the pullback outlook. Talked about this level right here. The 3570s has some good volume and it stayed there. So 3570s, we'll look to see if it acts as support and then it comes right back up. That's right near these lines right here. Using that and then coming right back up is one thing that I can look at. Got to step up to the plate here in just a second on PSX. All right, not looking too bad there. Let me go towards PSX. I'm going to look for one more dip here to just keep adding on lower ends of this. I can still add at the 4180s, but I'm looking to add towards 4160s. Orders out there at the 63s. So I'm just off the bid here. Look to see if I get another fill there. Roku showing up, guys. And big levels actually pushing strong on this one today. Big push up there in Roku. So big levels to push there. Up there towards 63. What happened in Roku today? ARKK having a decent day there. There's some stocks doing really well there. Twist, NTLA. Ooh, this looks like a nice little VWAP pullback. NTLA, I don't trade this one often, but nice little pullback opportunity here. As it's pulled back there, now trying to shake a little bit. The morning action was a nice little pop and drop there. There's a little bit of a bull flag here to maybe come after. Doesn't look too bad here. It could drop to the 75s. That's kind of the level where I could risk off of the 77s and right below it there towards the next layer. The next layer is the 48, 2250s. So doesn't look too bad here for a entry into the 80s and looking to just get back above the 23s. NTLA. I haven't traded this one often, but hey, the pullback's there. We'll look to see if it shakes back to the upside. Daily chart doesn't look pretty though. That's one thing to note. All right, Moderna pulling back there. Beam on the pullback. A lot of these right on the VWAP. So we'll look to see what happens on that one. Tesla 5% today to the 208. Who was talking about a Tesla swing trade last week? I hope somebody was able to hold on to that bad boy because, man, look at that gap filling. Now continuing to the upside. And boy, oh boy, is Tesla looking well. What a move, man. Definitely a little frustrated I don't have that Tesla still. There's PSX there, guys. Now I got about 100 shares there, so at least I know where my out is now on PSX. Can start to kind of line this up here and see what happens. I'm taking about the 100 shares. That way I can risk about $100. Looking for this to really break through that 143 and take that next level to the upside. 141.20s is really a level that I could look for this to hold. So I'm going to go ahead and set this towards 140.80s here just to give myself a little bit of room. We'll see what happens on that if it does make the break to the upside. All right, let's go looking elsewhere and take a look to see what else I can trade. Humana was one that I was looking at for the 6 break back up. It did. Now it's back down to the 580s. What happened with Chewy today? Man, that thing just got flushed. I should have looked for the short on that one, man. That one's a tough one, but GME is starting to come back a little bit. We'll see if that one can make a move today. ICU, one of the ones that is making a move up there towards 950s. Catching up with you guys in the chat. What's up out there, guys? Yeah, Chewy just took a vomit. That's for sure. CSLR. Okay, that's not a bad one. We were watching that earlier. That one's still fading. That one's back towards the 150. You talked about that. When it get that last explosion, it did get that last pop and drop. Walmart now coming back there. I will be adding to Walmart on the swing trade side of things, but man, Skechers, and on. Oh man, frustrated today, guys. I should have been nailing these footwear stocks to the downside, and look at that go. Now back to the 38s here, guys. So this one's a little bit of a frustrating name, definitely. I wanted to short these off of what's going on in Nike, right? Nike could come back today, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't look at footwear and accessories for the short side of things. And you guys are seeing that there's some that are definitely taking a hit today. Look at Deck. Look at this. 5% down, guys. Burke down also. This is one to look at for maybe a short. This one had an offering, and it went up on the offering. It's almost like they gave us a gift. Look at Shoe Madden. There's so many of these breaking down. They gave us the news. Nike, you told us what was happening. Just more along did some of us listen. Definitely. Seeing the downside there. Skechers, big hit there. Man, was struggling. Could have gone after these trades. Little bit frustrated, as you guys can clearly see, man. Crocs is another one that maybe I could come after. That spread is so tight on this one, or so wide on this one, that I didn't come after it just recently. It got up there towards the 148, but the bid wasn't there. So we'll see this one maybe take out the 147, coming back to the 144s is the level that I could look at on this one. But man, a little bit frustrated on these trades because I definitely wanted to short these. Waiting for some resolution in Mara. Yes, Mara is a trappy stock, man. That's one thing for certain. I can say I like the hourly levels for pullbacks, but this is just trappy. It looks like it's moving a lot, but when you go back to the hourly, you realize that on the daily, it's just chopping around in here. Every hourly candle looks like a chop. Wicks to the downside, wicks to the upside, wicks to the downside, wicks to the upside. That's when you got to be careful. This stock just loves to give up money in between the action. So the algos are making a ton of money in Mara in between the action. All right, taking a look there. Looking at PSX here. See what happens here. We'll see what happens. Right now it's trading at like the 141.80s. Still down a good amount there. We'll look to see if this starts to work its way back on energy. Starts to work back towards 142.50s, especially for the recovery. All right, HCC was one that was on the pullback. Coal stock right off the VWAP now. We'll look to see if it takes the next step up back towards the 72. It is tightening down, at least on the spread of things. We'll see if this makes the next step. Looking at crude overall, we did do a spike right out the gates, and that helped the oil names. That got towards 82.50s. It's pulling back there towards 82 at 10 a.m. Let's see if this holds 82. Goes back up towards 83 for the oil names. That's what will give the lift. There's the takedown attempt on Gush. We'll look to see if it recovers. Right now, it is getting a takedown attempt, though, on that action. All right, looking around. What else is making a move today? Is Nvidia still on the downside? Yes, rejecting the VWAP there. TSM on the downside of things. Apple pulling back there. Now getting the little bit of a bounce there. We'll see what happens. Google even on the fade. The Qs are down big, 477.25, really struggling as we're having a little bit of a down day, just a little bit, right? You guys can see it daily, really kind of rejecting. Now starting to get below the 9 EMA. We could start to have a little bit of some down action in this market. And just to note, everything is down from the open. Technology is leading the bounce back up, but to tell you the truth, that was leading the downside action just a few minutes ago. So let's see if this gets into the green, but from the open, all sectors red. Man, on. You're just You're just going to give me the frustration today on that trade, guys. We should be up big on this one. I should at least be up big on this one. We'll see what happens, man. That's a frustrating one for sure. Skechers also now down to 68.27s. I was trying to get in this one on 69s, would be up close to about a point on this. I almost even got to stop watching these, man. This is definitely frustrating. What about Macy's to the downside? That's also getting a hit there. Broke the 19. Big level for that one is down through the 18s, but I don't think Macy's is going to be able to hold on to here. Doesn't look too bad. Maybe taking a swing trade at these levels, but definitely missing the trade out there today. And a little bit, you guys can see it. I'm trying to hold it back, but frustrated to say the least, because I'm seeing these take the big hit, just not taking the trade and not being able to take it down. So like Walmart, at least that's looking good. That's probably going to get a nice ad there for the swing trade side of things. It's kind of like a pop and drop. We'll see if that can keep dropping. Costco, I was looking for the drop there. Look at Costco go. 850s down towards the 845. We talked about maybe the defensive names that were struggling, like packaged foods. How would those do today? Let's take a look at that. Packaged foods is actually up right now. We'll look to see if it starts to fade. Taking a look at some of these action. Of course, GIS was that leading the downside action. So we'll look to see if any of these other ones are starting to break. Kellanova with the downside action break. So this one doesn't look too bad to maybe break the 57.36 and go down there, maybe 57s. Not a bad look there. We'll see what happens there in K. Tesla volume, 24 million shares already. Not bad, man, not bad. Oh, Nike, and on. I just gotta leave that going, man. That's gonna be definitely something that frustrates me, just to say the least. All right, PSX still on the pullback there. Just giving myself a little bit of room here as the bid pulls back and spreads out a little bit there, but not looking too bad. Just needs to recover on the hourly candle. Hourly candle could hold this pullback and then keep going. We'll look to see what happens if it does hold the hourly pullback back up towards 142. If not, going to go ahead and get out. We'll see what happens here. Gush down back towards 35.50s, filled in that 35.70 volume. We'll look to see if it recovers that level. DTSS still holding in above the 7s now, or right below the 7s. Got above the VWAP though. All right, looking around out there. Chewy still vomiting? Probably. GME trying to recover there. Clean Spark back to the downside there. So not seeing that downside action there. All right, Clean Spark down there. Mara trapping some buyers for the upside, it looked like, and now taking a hit, now taking some downside action. So we'll see if this starts to fade off. See how it looks bullish, but could just be a trap, right? That's the hard part with Mara. Is this a trap move? That's the hard. It really is. It's a hard chart right now. Rivian with an upside breakout. That's actually looking pretty decent there today. $14 holding well. Move to the upside there. Carvana is one that I've been keeping an eye on. That one's on the breakdown though. Not looking too good there. Carnival pulling back there after that big push off their earnings, right? So that's definitely getting a big wipeout right back down. NCLH, same thing. RCL, is that taking a big beating? Yeah. All right, PSX trying to bounce off this 141, trying to hold in right now. We'll look to see if it does get the bounce back towards the upside. Doesn't look the best right now, but looking to see if we can get right back up in oil. What notes do you add on your journal? I have trend, 90 MA, VWAP, pre-market break, resistance. I like that. Those are all good things, Noli. All good things. Not looking too bad, man. Definitely today, one of those days where I missed some trades that I should have been after, guys. This just is what it is. XRT breaking down a little bit today. That also showing that little breakdown. What about ANF? Did that kind of break there? That is kind of breaking, but it's holding in there, man. That one's a tough chart to break down, man. It just doesn't want to give up. ANF doesn't want to give up, man. That Abercrombie. Crooks. Crooks. Looking for some kind of bounce in these names so that I could get short, but not seeing it. HCC, the kind of the coal name, they had pulled back there. Up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3, down 3. You're going to look to see if it bottoms out here, then turns back to the upside. So that's just something to keep an eye open for. Walmart getting me the entry. So Walmart adding to that entry on the swing trade side of things for Walmart. So there you guys have my swing trade on Walmart. Going to look to see if I get another bounce to add on Walmart. You guys see it here. A firm down big. That one I got to keep a close eye on. It's close to my stop at the 29.70s there. If that does hit that, I'll get out for a 93 loss on that one. But looking to add on the Walmart side of things here and try to get this to get back to the upside. XLE is one that I can look to add also for the swing trade side of things. As Walmart starts to decline, I'm going to look for a bounce back towards around the 67.90s for another add. If I do get it, that'll be at 67.90s, then risk right above the 68 level. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. I already got 40 shares there. I got what, 67.74 on Walmart. XLE, can look to see if I can get this on the pullback and then just get the add here just slightly below my entry. I'm going to go ahead and try that right now. A little bit bigger here. Ooh, couldn't get the 40. Let's try to get the 20 there. All right. Ooh, come on. I have to be able to get 10 shares. No, buying power all used. No. All right, guys, we'll see what happens on that one. Affirm is the one that I'll be keeping an eye on. Walmart opened up a little bit bigger, so that's where the sizing is going right now. We'll look to see if Walmart does a takedown there. Getting back to the day trade side of things. Switching over the accounts there. Let's go. PSX, definitely on the watch. Now back down towards the 149. He's about to stop me out, and boom, there she goes, guys. There she goes into the 80s. Took a hit there today to start the day. So filled orders, you guys can see it here, down 119 on PSX. Going to look to bounce back. Just got to keep it going, team. Keep it going. All right, so definitely on was the better positions to kind of get after today for me. Now they're starting to bounce, so I'm looking for bounces to get short, but now I'm late in the game, and that's where it gets a little bit harder. WHLR showing up on the scanners. That one's a big mover, scary looking thing. But man, does this get going when it does get going. So I'll take a look at it right now, but the spread is about $1. So that's where you got to be very careful on this name. This is as low float as it gets, man. I don't even know the float on this thing, but it's ridiculous, man. I got to take a look at this. Volume. I'm trying to look for some information here, guys. So I'm looking into the information here for us. But man, Wheeler, what a stock. Just got to be careful with this one though, because it's a crazy split and it gaps and it just makes this crazy move. But we'll see what happens on that one. It's kind of like the DTSS one, where it's just such a low float that it could make the move and it could also break down. DTSS trying to make that 7 move here. There's a big seller at 710, guys. 24,000 shares waiting there at 710. He's trying to get through there. We'll see if it takes him out. That's really what you got to kind of keep an eye out for. I'm watching it on the 5-minute. Doesn't look too bad. It's definitely building there, but there's that 710 offer that is just hanging there right above it, guys. 24,000 shares there, just sitting there. We'll see what happens on that one. And of course, we can pay attention to this for like order flow, right? A lot of times we're looking at the order flow and we're trying to pay attention and learn. One thing that I like to do, guys, and I'm going to show you guys it right now, is kind of look for the bigger orders, right? So the bigger orders is what matters to me here. You guys can see the bigger orders when it goes through in yellow. So you see the yellow 1,000 shares there. So I'm looking to see what happens there. Another 1,000 share buyer. So they're trying to take out that 710 guy, right? We'll see what happens here. Is this a scalp opportunity? It is a scalp opportunity. Let's see if it gets it up there. I'm going to look to try to join the party, guys. I'm looking for a fast trade here. Let's see if we can get it. DTSS trying to take out that 710. Let's take a look at the level 2 here, the market depth. You guys can see that 710 right here. You see how he got hit some of it? He got hit some of it, but it didn't take him out completely. This was a 20 something thousand. Now it's at 17,000. So we're talking about the order flow there and seeing it here. Now you're seeing a little bit of some bidding towards the 680s and the 690s. There's the 710 showing up on the offer. We got to get through that level. We're not seeing that level for the buying to really get through him and just break him through. So another thing to see is if he just pulls it off. Does that order just disappear out of nowhere? That's one thing to kind of keep an eye open for too. So the 680s, they're trying to fill in some of that pullback level off the 680s. That's one thing that I can clearly see there. We'll see what happens if it takes the next step up there and tries to take out the 710. All right, picture from the chart. That's why I took the trade. Hey, get after it, Noli. Good to see it, man. All right, guys, over 50 of you guys tuning in on Twitter. Guys, keep me on watch, right? You guys know, of course, you guys have my Twitter. You guys can check it out, guys. Money Mitch _TTP. Of course, I've been giving out the kind of the playbook plays out there that you guys can be taking a look at every single morning. Here's that 710, trying to take out that 710 guy here. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at this as this starts to work here. So you see the 710. Now look at this. It went up to 20 something thousand there. So definitely someone's playing with this one. Now the only question is, can it get through that level? The rejection there of the 710s there, trying to reload at 7 here. We'll see what happens, guys. It's trying to break through that 710. Just can't do it right now. MLGO, of course, a high flyer. That was rejecting today, back down to the 14s. We'll see if it recovers on the day. And Wheeler was one of those big movers, but this thing's just moving all over the place. Nothing that I like on that one. SNTI, 50-cent stock, pulling back there to the 50-cent spot. We'll look to see if it does take the move. DTSS, let's go back to it. It's trying to take that 710. Can't do it, guys. It wicked there 3 times. 1, 2, 3 times off that 710. Could be coming right back down. We'll see what happens. It's battling and battling, trying to get through there, but can't do it because of that wall. That wall. And look, now next wall set there. Next wall at the 720s. Now there's some bidding action there, though, trying to join the party, the 690s. Look how you're trying to join the party on that pullback. And we could get a little bit of that 90 fill and then a come back through 7. That's kind of the look right now. The bid goes down and spreads out to 90s. Gets that volume, and then tries to take that 710. Let's see if that happens here. All right, guys, definitely smash the like out there, guys. We got a lot of you guys joining in. I see a lot of likes out there, even on Facebook. So shout out to you guys that were able to hit the like on Facebook. It's good to see you guys. Let's keep battling and finding some good trades. Today, have 1 trade in the red. You're going to continue to watch to see what happens on PSX if it starts to come back. But right now, it's on the pullback. Qs are trying to pull back there, but not much. And then the trades out there, man. The trades of the day are going to frustrate me, guys. Skechers down to 68.30s on down to 38.13s. The only thing I can do for these now is scalp it. Guys. But man, that's a hard trade because you can always get moves back to the VWAP. That's just something that can always happen. Like this 5-minute broke down from here, this 38.50s. We could always get a move back up towards that 38.50s. So that's the layer that I can look to short off of. But for right now, I just got to keep watching or go for the scalp through the 38s. I don't want to do that because that's easily I just get wrecked, as that wasn't the original plan. And now I'm just trying to adjust and chase. Rivian continuing to the upside. That's actually a strong name right now. Tesla to the 209, 210. So look for the stocks that start to make that recovery. Remember earlier, even Wisdom, we're looking at Apple. Maybe for the breakdown, look at that. Boom. Break up, man. These big boys, I think, are looking good here. Even Google for maybe a recovery right back up here. Doesn't look too bad to hold that 184 pullback that it just did to 183.75. Take that 184, hold that, take 185 going back towards 185.40s. I don't mind it here. I'm looking for one more pullback on Google. I wouldn't mind taking the shot there towards the upside. Amazon for the 200 push. One thing to note on Amazon, in the middle of July, they're going to be having another Prime Day. So maybe that's what gets them through that 200. We'll see what happens. Amazon is trying to prop there towards the 196. Micron, you think now's the time for Micron? I don't know, man. I don't trust Micron one bit, but hey, it's on the pullback. It's definitely down to the 130s. That's an important spot for it to hold. Mara. Geez, got to trade short on Mara, but missed a long trade. And that's how it happens, guys. It does happen. Mara, look at that big spike to 2150s. So with that spike, I can look at Clean Spark spike and look for a scalp on this, because if Mara's going to spike, Clean Spark could start to play catch up through these levels to the left hand side, which is the 17 spike. So pullbacks right now to the 1680s and 1690s make sense for me on that Clean Spark breakout attempt here. Let's see if I can get it. I'm looking for a quick pullback. That's the only way I come in it here, and that's the 1690s. And then I have to hold off the 1675s, because if you get a quick pullback through that to 1650s, you'll probably get screwed. Let's just be honest. So now I'm looking for the pullback into the 1685s, the 1680s. Let's see if we can get that pullback into that level, and then I could take the shot for the throwback look, where stock goes above 17, pulls back, then takes the next layer and keeps going. We'll see what happens here. It's at 1711. Looking for the pullback back and below the 1690s towards the 1680s. That's the way that I can come after that. Oh, Lord. These footwear names, man. They're going to definitely frustrate me, to say the least. Walmart, not bouncing right now. That's still looking good there. Costco. Ooh, Costco with a little bit of a bounce there. Don't mind looking for a day trade short on Costco. Actually like this level right here. And look for that. So you get this downside up 1, downside up 2, downside up 3, and then rejection. There's this kind of like 50 moving average right above it here. The VWAP is towards this 849. So somewhere in this 848 to 849 range, I wouldn't mind taking the short. Just got to be careful. Of course, it's an $800 stock, and it moves fast, and the spread is close to $1. On, giving me a little bit of an alert. Let's take a look at that. There's the spike there for on. Now it doesn't look too bad there for me to take a shot there off the spike above here for the short action. So into the 3840s, into the 3850s, doesn't look too bad here. I'm going to get a starter here just to get a little bit of a piece here, but I'm really looking to add into the 3840s and 3850s there. Oh man, that dropped fast there. Slow reaction there for me. I should have got the 30s, got the 28s there on the drop of the bid. I'm looking to add there into the 3850s, but only got about 200 shares there. Looking for another little spike into here to make a little bit of an add on. Could come to this 3860s. That's where I really start to kind of jump in there. 3850s above, but man, not a good entry on the first one. Just being a little slow today, man. A little hesitant. Got to get after it. All right, guys, the dogs are barking out here. I'm going to go on the mute for just a second here. I'm going to keep it going, guys, and we'll see what else is moving in the market. Order out for Costco at the 848.25 level and look to see if I get a bounce short on this. But man, it could just take down through the 847 level. So that's just something to note. Looking for a little bounce to get the fill and then the takedown, but we'll see what happens there in Costco. There's Costco coming right back down already. So doesn't look the best, but I did get a little starter there and on. We'll see what happens there. Skechers is still looking for the bounce. That's down to 68.33s, so don't think I'll be able to get that one. Crocs for the takedown. That's back up towards 148, so this one actually doesn't look too bad, but it's already kind of declined for like 4 or 5 days, so that's one thing to note. Deck that really got hit there. That one back at VWAP makes sense for me. So if this could come back here to like 940s, 950s, I don't mind taking a short on this, but it needs to get back there above the 940s to the 950s, and then it can look for a takedown back to the 920 level. Costco, we'll see if I get the fill there. It's already kind of dropping there. Costco, probably a miss there. Canceling the Costco right now. Going to look to see if I get the bounce. All right, catching up with you guys in the chat. What's up out there? Eldon, you still in the swing on Shop? No, Kevin got out this morning, man. Shop with a big downturn there. It got me out on that kind of hit down towards 63. I was up big on this one, guys. I can't lose on this trade, so that's the other thing. So Shop is one of those trades where I had to kind of cut it just because the way that my rules are. It's looking good though, just didn't fill. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look there. Is XLE starting to recover? No, it's still on the decline there, back down towards 90, 80s here. So we'll look to see if that one does start to move back, but doesn't look the best right now. Gosh. Pulling back down to the 35, so big hit down. Look to see if oil can recover on the day. Valero back down to the 156 level. Affirm getting a hit on Affirm, so taking a hit on the swing trade side of things. It's not looking bueno today, man. It is a tough day for me, especially when some of the things are working well. Tesla back there, it's 211. Google back towards that 184 level. Let's see if it recovers back to the upside. Apple up there towards 214, looking well. DTSS, did that ever go back to that 7? No, it didn't. It's back to the 660s. So definitely a rejection there on that one. MLGO back down to 14 today. So not looking good there for MLGO. Clean Spark back towards 1720s. No pullback on it and just a big spike to the upside. So wasn't able to join that party. On, trying to get back there towards the 3850s. This is one that I'm probably just going to have to step up to the plate on, guys. So I'm just going to step up here, guys, and start taking some bigger shots in this. Of course, I'll have to add if it keeps coming back to the VWAP, but I don't mind taking a little bit of an add here and just keep trying to build the position. 3829s now, 400 shares on. I'm going to keep looking at deck for the move back here towards the VWAP. Also for a short, that's not a bad one to keep on watch. Sketches is just flying down, so can't go after that. And then Crocs, like I mentioned, it's already down big, so I don't want to get after that one. Gap with a big pullback today, that's for sure. Costco bouncing off that 845. We'll look to see if it gets back to the VWAP. Bullseye, tough day. Hey, man, no worries. Shake it and bake it, man. Let's keep getting after it. Let's see what we can do in the market. The Qs are coming back here, and I think that's also playing an effect, but this can come right back down to the lows. You'll start to see some takedown out there. First Solar, that's back up there to 222.70s. Can this come right back down to the 218s? It's not a bad one. ENPH, I'd like more, but you guys are seeing it out there. What was that stock this morning, that solar stock? That's CSLR. Yeah, look at this, right back down to the 150s. So definitely not being able to hold that rip to the upside. SNTI, smaller name, 50-cent name, trying to hold that 50 cent and make the move. It is holding in right now, but such a slow mover. HUMA rejects to get back above the VWAP, so that's one thing to note. That just didn't held and starting to reject. On, I'm still looking for a little bit of a bounce back here. If not, the takedown could come right back through the 38, so that's not a bad outlook. Just need to see a little spike here to keep adding for the daily takedown. The daily takedown back through the low to the left, 37.71 is the big level for me to watch. Today, we go back there towards 37.84s, so looking for that takedown of that low, and that's the kind of the opportunity for the downside action to come back in and on. So one more spike here, back up above the VWAP, and I'll definitely get short big. If not, I can look for takedowns and just look for it to hold this 400 shares and see what happens here. Rivian's been hot this morning, and it's a lot off, I think, the Tesla reports. So that's interesting to watch for pullbacks, but nice little bounce back for Rivian. ICU had gone up all the way past 10 and it's pulled back here to the 950s. Doesn't look too bad, but I don't know about ICU. It's on a reverse split type of name, so it's very difficult there. ARKK had some names that were hot earlier, so let's take a look at that action and see how that's doing. Twist, Tesla leading the party in ARKK. RXRX, not looking too bad there. PRME, Prime Medicine, actually getting a little bit of a pop there in the ARKK names. So there's some good names here doing well. NTLA, this is one that I was looking at a little bit earlier, had pulled back here 1, 2, 3, 4 times almost to break down. Now I could look for the comeback towards the upside. Doesn't look too bad here. At least it's a nice measured approach, right? I think that's the important thing here is the measured approach to see this come back through the 23s towards the 2330s and maybe 2350s on the breakout. Doesn't look too bad here. Just need to stay really close to this name. Let's go ahead. Let's try to take a long here. And I'm on the short side of things for on. So I'm going to go a little bit bigger here just to start so I can get the first pop here. 75s. I would like to get closer towards 70, but it just popped right now. So let me take a look here to see if I'm able to nail it. Would like the 70s there, 73s already. So I'm going to go and take a little bit there on the 73s just because I don't want to be too picky and then just completely miss the name there, guys. So I got 500 shares there, 2273s. Would look for a little bit of a pullback closer towards the 2267s. And then I got a risk below this low here, about 10 cents. So 2263s towards the 53s. Would be kind of more of that level. Maybe the 46 I can use as a risk, but 53s is kind of more of that level for me. 10-cent risk there off of that 2263 is what I'm kind of looking at. Should hold these bottom lows, maybe an attempt to 67, but really looking for a quick sweep to the 23. On now starting to get into the green, still not really kind of breaking down or upside here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add here on the downside action. If this does bounce, that's something definitely to keep a watch on. I need to see what happens here in the market depth. So let me take a look at that. A lot of volume up towards the 3840s, and I think that's a lot to see for the rejection move, but just got to keep watching here. There's on starting to break down a little bit further there. I'm at 29, so I could add here, but I'm chasing down. I'm chasing down. That's the thing to keep in mind. Might have to chase a little bit today. That's how I'm feeling. And you guys can hear it in my voice. This is not something I do common. It's chase. I usually wait and try to short off that VWAP. Here's that takedown attempt there. It's back towards the 3825s. I'm looking for a little bit of a bounce. I'm probably just going to hold on the 400 that I have so I don't ruin it and all of a sudden get stuck in the middle. I hate being a pig. I want to be a bear in this situation, not a pig. NTLA now pulling back there towards that level where I could get the add here. So I'm taking a look at it to see if I can go ahead and step up for the add. Let me see if I can get it here. Lower 60s, lower 2260s. It was there for a second there. 65s I'm going to put out there for the add, and then I'd hold off of that 65. Might have to risk like 150 to 200 on this, but I like the pattern. It's a nice little pattern for me. I like that attempt to break down. Now I'm going to look for that scoop back towards 23. All right, guys, what's out there? GME vomiting right now. Oh, man, the vomit's all around today. That's for sure. All right, NTLA back to the 76 there. No fills on the pullback there for me. So I'm canceling that ad right now. It's at 70. I had that in the low 60s. So now that we're coming back through my level, I can look for that ad off of my level and then use the lows if we start to work our way back to the VWAP. So not a bad level to look at. Now I just need to see this start to push back towards the 23. All right, team, it's 10:43. He's got to take some shots there, guys. We'll be wrapping up here in just a little bit here, guys. It's about 10:43. We got about, 17 minutes left here. NTLA 2273s there, pulling back there. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Looking for the lower 60s to show up here. In the 60s, higher 60s on the offer, I don't mind adding a little bit. Setup's there. Now the question is it going to start to make the break? Nothing yet, guys. Nothing yet. This also was a rejection from the 2340 levels. So that's going to be the big level to watch for resistance. A couple of tries to get up there and has rejected it. So that's going to be the level that I'll be watching for the upside break. That's that 2350 level that we see right here to the left-hand side. A couple of attempts have tried to go through there. So if we could come back through there, that's going to be an important level to watch for it to break through. Struggling right now, but on starting to get into the favor for me there, and to 38.19, so it doesn't look too bad. I'm just gonna let this thing work here, man. Should have definitely been a little bit bigger, and that would be already starting to take some profits. It's one of those where it's just a struggle of a position to even try to get in. So Skechers went down to 68.33, so good look there. NTLA, now the pullback here, 2270s, holding in there. We'll look to see if this makes a move. Hasn't done anything right now, so that's why I'm not adding. It's just kind of stuck right now. It's definitely a little bit of a move out there, but not much going on. It's slowing down here, if anything. Here's lower 60s here. If I want to add, this is my opportunity to add an NTLA. Just got to watch it here. It's the 73 spot right now. I'm just looking for the recovery back. All right, that's that wick down attempt here now. So I really don't want to see it go through this 2260s here. Just want to see this come right back up through the 2270s. And at that point, I'm going to look for the momentum to actually get faster. So it should speed up into the breakout. Zombie time, kitty vomit, all around. Zombie time. Actually, I kind of liked around this period to take trades. 1030 is one of my areas where I actually do well. So let's see what happens, guys. DTSS, what that one do? Back down to 6, shebang. ICU back down to 9. So these don't look good. Humana back down to 557. On, trying to bounce a little bit there. The algo is taking control now. NTLA, still looking at it here. Not doing much. Definitely slowed down. Tell you that much. Looking to see if I could see some buying step up here. All right, so you guys see the market depth here on NTLA, and you can see how there's a kind of an equal balance right now. So I'm looking for a big buyer to step up there, and where I could look on the order fill is looking for what? The time in sales, right? The time in sales is so important. So big order there at the 2266, about 1,500 shares. I don't really care about these smaller ones. I'm looking for the bigger order size to really show up. That's what really kind of gets me to start focusing on it. So more than, let's say, 1,000 shares. And you can do this too, guys. You can adjust the size on the time in sales. So it'll only show me the orders that are above 1,000. So show me the big orders. That's what I want to see. And you guys can color it, grade it, whatever you guys want to do. Just right click, go to the settings and take your shot on there, and you can adjust it with the coloring. And you can see like 5,000 for me will have a blue background. Purple will be 10,000 shares. Those are bigger traders taking some big shots. We're talking order flow today, guys. Smash the like. All right, guys, it's about 10:48. NTLA pulling back here, but not making the move. It's still on the pullback here, so I don't mind adding, but it needs to be in the low 60s, and then I got to risk off the 50s here. All right, it's Costco coming back there. Yeah, it came back kind of to the same level though. Deck. Ooh, deck. Mitch, go after deck. This is a big boy. All right, so starter is going to be really small because, man, this stock big. All right, guys, I'm taking a trade that is a little bit out of my realm in the 900s, but I'm taking it based off of a pattern that I like to trade, which is the VWAP rejection. So this to come back down on deck. So I just took a starter there, guys. You guys see it, only 10 shares because I got to be careful on a spread that's 215 ticks, right? So what I'll do is I'll add another 5 shares at the 940s, which is the offer right now. So 940s, I'll add 5 shares there. And then I'm willing also to add 5 shares at 942s or 943s, something like that, where it's back here. So I'll do 943s for the next add. And then I can always, try to add in between that. But this is the spread outlook to try to give myself a nice little ladder approach, taking a little bit of a short on something that really is not something I do all the time. So taking a shot there on deck to the short side of things. Let's see what happens, guys. Smash the like. You guys enjoy me talking strategy and different outlooks out there. On now to 38.14. Gonna look for the takedown. Just keep going, baby. Just keep going. Let's go on. Let's go. Smack it down. Let's get this red out there. Let's go. You guys know where you're at. Trade the pool, guys. Hit the subscribe. If you're not subscribed before, I don't know what you guys are waiting for. We're coming after it every single morning. Hit the like, guys. Hit that subscribe below. We start at 8:30. We're talking about these in the pre-market. It's been great trades this short on footwear. Skechers. Look at that. 68.21s. Look how this just fell off. Boom. Down below the VWAP. Rejects the VWAP. Down she goes. Not a bad one there. Hit the like, guys. All right, guys. DAC now starting to go into the red and back into the green, just like that. Just goes red, back to the green. Why? Because the spread is so wide. So you got to be careful on a name like this. Back into the red is when I can add. When I see this red, that's when I can set up for the add. Look how 10 shares right now is like up 23, right, man? I mean, this is ridiculous. But the move down below 920s, and we're talking what? 18 points. We'll see, guys. Taking a little bit of a different trade here. DAC is definitely not up my alley. $900 stocks, not something normally I come after. All right, NTLA now starting to get that spike. I'm trying to add here, guys. Let's see if I can step up to the plate and get that add here. 200 will be the first add here, and then I'll look to start stepping up there. 2275s, just grabbed 700 shares. I got 2274s. Now below 70s, I'll add another little bit here if I get the fills, and then hold off that 53. So 68 level, boom. Got the limit add to add at 68. We'll look to see if I get that add at 68, and then just looking for this to take off through the 2280s. We'll see what happens. A long and 2 shorts today on right now. All right, PSX starting to bottom out around the 140s, but oil not looking well today. It's just a bloody day in the market right now. Technology, the only area that's green, but could fade off as you see this. A lot of fading action out there. Nvidia, what's up out with Nvidia? It's at 122s, could fade again, right back down towards the 119. So just keeping that in mind. And that's what makes me feel good about these deck and this on short. That's what makes me look at for maybe Costco for the short or break down more in that area. So that's the discount stores. Could look at some of those to see what happened there and which ones are up on the highest end of the RSI that could be turning around, like DG, Dollar General, is up on the high end of the RSI that could reject right back down. Walmart is one that I'm looking at for stronger rejection. That's down to 67.55s. That's looking good. Target down today. Dollar Tree down. Let's see what happens with these. They're starting to get that nice hit there. Costco, see if it keeps coming down here. DEC up into the green, but I'm just going to leave that one alone. Don't mind adding to this, but I need bounces. And you can see how it kind of went to the VWAP, but rejected that. I'm looking for a bounce into the VWAP to add on this deck, but it's going to be a hard one. on now down to the 38.12s. Let's go. Let's get that wash through that 38, come down through the 37s. 37.70s is the daily low that I think we could start to break. If we break that low, as we break that, I can start looking for some profit take. That's 37.80s. But for right now, I'm just looking for this to kind of crush down on. It's on. All right, guys, SNTI still doing well there. And that one, that's a 50-cent stock that's trying to make that move towards the $1. We'll see if it gets that move. All right, guys, it's about 10:54. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a daily recap. It's been a little bit of a frustrating day today. Missing trades, took some trades. That's the story of today, guys. PSX down about 115 on that one. That's really where I had my only loss today. We'll see what happens on that action. But let's go to the swing trade side of things. It wasn't looking too good there either today, as we did get out of some names. You can see it here. Affirm with the big hit there on the 95 loss. That's a pretty decent loss on the swing trade side of things for me. Normally, I try to hold them towards 60. I tried to give a shot there on Affirm to get back up, and definitely just struggling with that one. Shop still lost a little bit, gave myself a tiny bit of room. This one was in the green. Should have just maybe stopped out break even. $14 is really not much for me, but I'll just keep a watch on that. AMD, you can see here, this is more the stop out that makes sense for me. Right near my entry, about $2 stop out. Even though I took a big gain on AMD. You guys remember I was up about $100 with 10 shares. So, hey, could have maybe got another 100. I was looking for AMD to make a big breakout. It just didn't happen. I did add to the Walmart short. You guys see the 3 positions on right now. XLE, Walmart, and Palantir doing the best. Palantir up there to 25.70s. Not going to shake that one today. I'm going to keep trying to hold on this one because I feel like it could make a big run on Palantir. We'll see what happens there. PLTR. All right, let's move back here. I need to go back here towards the day trade side of things and keep watching what's going on out there, guys. There's a lot of action here today. So let's see what I can come up with. NTLA now taking a downside risk here, guys. So we got to keep a watch on NTLA as it starts to break down here. Definitely can't let it go through that 53 level. So just keeping an eye on it. 2260s, trying to recover here, but could wash me out in just a second here. And that's going to be a pretty good loss. It'd be about 180 to 190. Been trying to risk towards the 200 spot, 150s, 200 on the risk side of things. We'll see what happens here. If it goes back through the 153 spot, I have it set right now at 2251. We'll see if it comes back and gets me, or can we start to make the move back to 23? All right, guys, DEC is still just kind of hanging out there. So I'm going to look for a little bit of a bounce there. It's 10:56, guys. In a second, we'll be out of here, guys. Always going to keep battling, win or lose, right? There's some trades that are going to do well. Some trades I'm going to miss just because, I'm doing a big commentary on the market. It's just a part of the game, right? That's how it is, guys. That's why it's important for you guys out there to try to minimize what you find as distractions. Focus on the trades that work best for you and keep going after those high quality setups. All right, traders, we'll keep battling. Of course, it's going to be a short week. There'll be a little bit of a break in between, right? The 4th will be off. Wednesday, small amount of trading. So this is a week that you don't see usually too big of moves, but this is actually a big positive week for the market. As if you guys take a look at the Stock Traders Almanac, if you guys don't know what the Stock Traders Almanac, give them a little bit of a shout out here. They look at a lot of statistical data, and they give you guys this at the beginning of the year, and you can look into it to kind of learn to see what happens, right? And as we start getting into July and August, this is when things start to turn things around, right? And I think this is so important, right, to kind of catch, right? So you get to July. July is actually the best month of the 3rd quarter. The start of the second half brings inflow of retirement funds, and the first trading day of the Dow up 28 of the last 38. So the first trading day today, the Dow, how did the Dow trade today? I'd love to take a look at that action. How did the Dow trade? Dow futures right now, I'm taking a look. It's actually down right now. Could end the day green though. Something to keep an eye out for. We'll see what happens there. It's just something to look at, right? I love statistical data like this. This is what you see a lot of the people, let's say they go on CNBC, They talk about this. They bring this information for you guys. Huge gain in July usually provides better buying opportunities over the next 4 months. And the start of the NASDAQ's worst 4 months of the year. Something to note, guys. Definitely take a look. There's a lot of vital statistics that is given here. I'm not going to give you it all because you got to have your of course, your stock traders almanac. Take a look. I got to bring on my man, Jeffrey Hirsch. He's the one that kind of is behind this. Of course, guys, check him out. If you guys haven't checked out the Stock Traders Almanac, you can go on their website and still get the book, maybe even the digital version versus like me that actually has the book. But I look to get this every single year. You guys check it out. Always giving you guys some good information out there, and I'm going to keep on battling. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. Like always, signing out. Going to keep battling. I'll see you guys bright and early at 8:30, where we go through, of course, the playbook of the day. Today's Walmart. SMCI not doing that great. Energy started good. We'll see how the day ends, right? Like always, smash the like. I'll be back tomorrow bright and early. We'll see you guys. Keep battling. You guys know where you're at. Trade the pool. And like always, you guys can keep up with the Discord action. For anybody that likes to trade all day and things like that, we'll go to the Discord. They're talking all day stocks. Check it out, guys. I will see you guys bright and early.